Hmm. Yep, and we're live. Yasini is in the house with Charbay and Salima Ellis, and this is a follow up or part two to the keys to great health that we did sometime last month. And we definitely wanted to check back in and let you know how the progress is going and to see what you all got to say about it. So it's cool that nobody's in the house, or at least nobody's commented yet. Let me see. Um, this was planned, and you were notified 2 days ago. So I got to see if you want to just introduce yourselves, and maybe somebody will come on in. But right now, um, we're in the house waiting for you to roll up in here. So Charbay, you can introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Charbay, aka Shari Berry, and I am retired teacher, retired now, and on this journey of health with the totality of self uh, in many different ways, and that's my story.
Right, and you've seen her before, and she still looks great, as expected. Salima, you wanna you wanna go ahead and introduce yourself, which everybody on my subscription should know you already. But go ahead, goddess.
Greetings and
Yes.
salutations to the bloodline. Yes, this is Salima. Peace and love. It's greetings and salutations. As always, it's good to see you all. You can always find me at Yasini in the House, of course, Taz
Right.
Studios, Salima Ellis on Facebook, Salima Ellis on Instagram. And you can always go to my Facebook school page, Universal Mind School of Evolution, where I have curriculum, videos about almost anything that has to do with decolonization and the education of our people. So, welcome to the Yasini in the House, and I can't wait to pick up from the topics we left off from.
Right, and this is the topic that anybody can relate to because it's health. And
Yes.
since Charbay shared her journey with us last time and had good results so far, she had lost the weight, she had learned how to eat better. Um, I'm gonna let you finish up or say whatever you want to say about your journey that continues today.
My journey has taken me into multiple directions because I realize that my health does not it only consist of what I eat. It's how I think. It's what I hear, my own particular thoughts, how I perceive myself in this world. Meditation, you name it. It takes care of it encompasses the, as they say, the whole self. Hi, Mike. but
Hello, Michael Passio.
yeah, but it takes in everything about me, so, and to know yourself, that means to know your system, how it works, and I'm just beginning to touch that journey with that. Let me tell you a story. I don't want to take too long, but
Yes.
let me tell you a story.
Take your time, Missy.
Okay, so when I was in China and I was, with my students, especially my lower grades, when they come in to my room, I wanted a place where they felt safe and calm and collective, and also foster. My biggest thing was creative process, so they have the ability to think or begin that creative imagination journey. So
Right.
the first thing that I started with my students is when we came in, and I think I may have said this before. We came in and they came in with a meditation. So we would sit, they could stand, they could um, whatever they wanted, however they wanted to do it. And we would spend 3 minutes of just mindfulness and meditation. And I'd play the
Mhm.
music, and the music that I had for them was for children, and um, it had a few words to it when they started, and I found that I got the best results from my students in the most creative projects that I've ever gotten from any group of students in the states that I had ever worked with. And that's because we started off with mindfulness. And
Yeah.
I made that a priority of the students, and they got so used to it. They come in and they sit in their positions, and they were doing their with the fingers or whatever they were going to do, and
Right.
it made me pay attention to that and how my students were reacting and how that creative process worked and how they began to um, not to make a long story short, begin to think, and they could tell me what they were doing. I said, what's going on here? What do I see? What's on your mind? And they would talk me through their drawing or their painting or what have you. And it made sense. And I knew what they were. And that's what made it so beautiful, because not only did it come out of them, but just the fact that they could explain what was going on. And they loved it. Greetings. But so that's basically it. But what I really wanted to share, what we were talking about earlier, was uh, am I jumping subject here? Going into lymphatic system and how you drain it, and
Yes.
showing how that drainage process works. Now, I don't I don't know a, a lot about it, but I began to practice with it, and I began to notice the difference when I finished with it and how I felt that it was draining uh, my the mucus in my body, and that's extremely important. So I'm just going to demonstrate for a minute what I do. Okay.
Please do.
Okay. So, the bone here, the clavicle bone, you can take this and you can rub it like this. And then I usually take my hands, and you could do this just 5 times on both times. Then I rub it around like this. And then I usually do one of these numbers anyway. Okay. And then I start here. I start with my fingers and I open up supposedly some
Are these
areas.
are these meridian points or
Yeah, those are where your lymph nodes are in your face. So you want to rub them,
oh,
and then between the eyes, rub them. And you can do it, like I said, 5 times or 9 times or how many ever times you think you need to. Okay, now once you finish that, then
so hold on. So lymph nodes are bones? Because all the
no,
parts of health
no,
is bone.
no, they're the drain. I know Selena know. Selena.
Okay.
But go ahead.
They're part of your nasal cavities. Your
Yes.
your lymph nodes, your lymph nodes are part of your immune system, as they like to call it. But it's
Yes.
also part of your nasal cavities.
Hmm.
I'll keep saying this, we don't get colds. It's really called a purge. They just call it a cold so that they could,
Oh,
make all
Yeah.
this money. But really, when you think about what's happening during a so-called cold, you are purging. So that means
Yes.
that your lymph nodes are draining all of the
Yes.
pus from the processed food, the cheese, and the milk that you've eaten. So every uh every 3 months or so, some people get what's called a cold, but it's not a cold. Your body has taken in so much poison, now
Mhm.
it's purging. And under colonialism, under commercialism, they commercialized it as a cold, and you have these symptoms because it's cold outside or this or that is going on. But really, what it is that, right, the cold is the cure. Your body is purging all of the poisons that
Yes.
you've taken in.
Mhm.
So anybody who's eating meat, cheese, sugar, all this refined food, you're going to get what's called a cold. But really, what it is a purge. Your body naturally purges. Remember, we talked about the itching, that some people have itching that they can't explain. And this is what I was saying to us as a people, that your body is continually healing when you eat like this. So there are
Mhm.
times when your back is itching or whatever part of your body is, you don't know why it's always itching. It's in a constant state of healing
Mhm.
because you're putting things in your body. You're not aware that your body has to take over and start healing itself.
Yeah.
So what we have really is not a cold, it's a purge. And the purge is a natural state of being of your body when it's time to get rid of that bullshit. So yes,
Yeah.
In the
I
house.
am I am Mr. Faye.
Yes, yes, we need to talk.
Yeah. So
We need
that's
to
yeah, and that's definitely a part of paying attention to your body because it's talking to you all the time.
right.
So please take the time to listen and finish the process. Well, okay, let's finish with that. So remember, we did here, here, and here. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take our hands like this. I want to make sure I position it like this. You're going to put it
Mhm.
under here, and you're going to move it out
Oh,
all the way to the ears.
oh wow.
And you can do that 5 times or 9 times or however
You
many
know, that
times.
feels good too.
Yeah, it
That
feels
feels
good. That's a massage. It's, yeah. And then it's then you take these two middle fingers here, and you take it and you begin to smooth it out. Now you're going towards the
oh,
ears like this,
yes.
and you see how that feels so good.
Oh,
And
it
then
does.
again, 5 times or 9 times. Then you take it
Yeah.
under here, and you're lighter, definitely under here, and you're gonna move it up towards the ears, towards the hairline.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. You could do that and go to sleep, right? Okay,
For sure. For
so
sure. It
now
does
I'm
feel good.
take it in here, and then I'm gonna eventually move it on out to here. Remember, you're doing it 5 times. Then you got behind the ears. Let's see, right there.
Mhm.
So you want to take this, and you're gonna rub it, and you can take it just like this, like you're splitting like a Y. Split it, bring it down. Split it, bring it down. Split it, bring it down. Now you're gonna go back because you're
To the
loosening all of this up. You're letting it drain, and just let it drain. Let it go down.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Reiteration with it.
Yeah. So now we're gonna do kind of like a full body. So you're gonna take your hand and you're gonna cuff it. And I may have to step back so you can see. I don't know. Ah, hi there. Okay, you're gonna cuff it. You're gonna do this 9 times.
Where are you hitting it? Come over this way some more.
But
Where are you hitting it at?
elbow.
Okay. Where it bends?
One, two,
Okay.
three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you can do under here the same way, but cuffing it too, or you can just do
Oh,
this because you're trying to drain and rub it around. But
right.
9 times there, you do that on both sides. Then you're
Right.
gonna go to the knee area, bend the no, right here, right in the crouch, right in here, and you're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
like that.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Now
And
you're
where's
gonna
that? Wait a minute. Where's that gonna drain at?
that's
Guys.
straight down, straight down. But anyway, okay, so now you're gonna go to your knee. In the bend of your knee here, you're gonna do the same thing. Cuff, you're gonna hit, or you can rub it around, whichever way feels good to you.
That's mucus too?
All of that, lymph nodes are everywhere.
Oh
Okay,
shit.
one part I've missed
Oh, yeah.
out. Okay, so after you do all of that, you gotta kind of jump around, just like loose,
Sure.
jump around. Da-da.
Oh, I'm gonna
Warm
try
up,
to do
30 seconds. Then button,
that.
the button
Wow.
that releases all of that. You're gonna go here, right where that bone is, right there. You're gonna
And
take
so,
that's the bone on the front of your leg, right here.
so is this aiding to weight loss
Yeah, I don't know.
or
It's just draining. You're gonna go.
herbalist, Salima? Does this aid weight loss?
I'm sure everything does, right?
I think
This
I think it
more
leads.
important than weight loss. It
Yes.
aids in building up your body's
You.
sense of purpose. Like your body has to realize its purpose. Like it does the regular drainage on its own when we have the purge, which we call the cold.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But this, what the goddess Charbet is showing us, is can help us drain every day in between colds, where your body is always because a lot of times people will hear me sniffle a lot and they think I always got a cold, but no, I have a contract where I'm always drainage. I'm
Yeah.
always on drain.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
And
this
we even taught I Am Wisdom Faith something so far, Sabe.
huh?
Great job. Great job. You learned something new. I know
Yeah,
I did.
if you're not learning something new, then you're destined for death. That's what I said. Okay, so
Yeah.
this bone right here, you're gonna take your hands and you're gonna like you're squeezing up, and you're gonna go along the bone until it stops. There's a knob there, and then you're gonna take that and rub it around, and that is your release button to
Is
let it
it
off.
kind of sore? Like if I hit that same area, I feel like a little
There's a
it
bone.
don't hurt. It don't hurt, but it's like a soreness when
It
and
might
only on
be,
that part.
yeah,
Because
but
you
that's
have swelling, you have that inflammation from what we've been eating, and the inflammation is what makes our joints hurt.
yeah.
That's why we take inflammatory foods and herbs like cherries and pineapples, which have bromelain. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Or herbs or turmeric or ginger, which are all anti-inflammatory. Because
Yes.
that's what that pain is. Our lymph nodes and our joints are swollen from refined foods, sugars, all these other things that
Whoa.
we eat. So what the goddess Charbet is doing is showing us how to drain. We drain the
Yeah.
body. You're going to hit your lymph nodes because a lot of your lymph nodes are by your what joints and gristles, the softest parts
Mm-hmm.
where you bend.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay. So yes, the goddess is on point. We should be doing that because that's a lot of time. And I know I hear myself doing it, but I'm on constant drain. Like I said, I'm 51 years old. I've been addicted to the food I've been eating since it was introduced to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have to and unfortunately I wanted to enter the drainage contract because I realized the swelling of my body went down once I could purposefully drain the pus
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to drain the mucus. Your body needs mucus. Your eyes wet, your nose wet, that's your mucus membrane. Your
Mm-hmm.
stomach lining, that's natural. That's a natural fluid wetness. That is the pus from the milk, sugar, and other stuff that you're trying to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Charmaine, can I get your Cash App name?
Um, I don't have a Cash App, but I do have
Um,
Shari, Shari, Barry, Barry, 123. That's PayPal at iCloud.com. I don't have any of that. I
um,
do PayPal. But you you want to pay attention to everything. Everything is important. Like even, I've been watching a lot of information about the brain. And it's something that I used to do with my students here in the States when I first started teaching with my students. And I didn't, you do things and you kind of read up on it and it's supposed to help and you kind of understand it, but you don't. But with my students, I would have them, before we began to learn, I would have them to bring their left and their right brain together. So this is about demonstration. So
yeah.
so I would have them, and I don't know if I can. Let me do this. So I would have my students. I would have
There
my
you go.
students
Right there.
to stand up, shake their body off,
Yes.
and then I would have them to cross their legs, just one over the other, and stand. And then I would have them to cross their arms and do this. Now, supposedly, scientifically, this is supposed to help bring your right and your left brain together. So
Okay.
I've been doing all kinds of experiments with my students to see what I can do to help them to learn better. Now, I don't know scientifically, I didn't test anything, but I do know that some of these techniques that you use with your students will help
Mm-hmm.
them learn. I'm I'm on
Sure.
a, that's my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Say
Hey, Mom.
hi. Okay. No, I wasn't talking to LeBron. So I would look for, I would like on my weekends, anytime I had off, I would purposely look for things to help my students to think and and learn better, to open up their mind to learning. Now, like I
Mhm.
said, any, I didn't document any experiments, but everything I did, I felt had a purpose in my students' life for them to think critically, to be able to think because think we don't think critical anymore. We follow the program.
Right. No
And
matter what.
right. And I don't, I want them to read between the lines, be able to think, okay, so they did this and this happened, but this happened that doesn't line up. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's all about um, mind, body. I would allow my students to listen to music. I would have them to hum because that vibration from a hum is
Mhm.
very good for the body. It actually helped break up some of the pus, as you said, the pus in your body is supposed to mucus. But all those things are important when you're trying to develop young minds. I did the best that I could to make sure that my students were getting what they needed from me anyway, especially since I'm supposed to be the creative one. I wanted them to think creatively, you know. And I thought
Right.
about it the other day. I watched a program,
Hold on.
and
Waking up.
can you hear me
You
now?
good? Yes.
Okay. And I was listening to, I was watching this brother who does schooling too, and he was showing some pebbles or some leaves or whatever, and he was saying, now how could I take this and use it in the classroom and actually teach? What could I teach? And and what would you do with it? And the people began to say, well, I could teach math with this. I can teach them counting. I can teach fractions with it. And it's like that's how you teach your students. You don't teach to a test. I was so frustrated when I was working in the States, especially because they taught to a test. Therefore, students were learning nothing. They were learning how to take a test, period. That's,
Okay.
that's it. And
That's
that
sad.
wasn't very effective. But I thought about you and I was like, yeah, that's right up her alley. I know she's doing that. I know she's taking them outside. Why are we not outside in a garden with our children, teaching them the science of the garden, or what a copper wire will do in a garden, you know,
Hmm.
anything. How does the dirt, how do you balance the pH in the soil? What does that feel like? What does that look like?
Hey, I need to know all of that. What
Well,
about the copper wire and how do you balance the pH of the soil?
That is true science. So that's the stuff we don't learn in regular school. That's the stuff I was able to teach and
mhm,
am able to teach as a home schooler.
right,
You see, we
right.
don't get to teach that in school. We don't get to do that. So Charbet was exercising, doing these things. I would do something called bell work,
Mm,
which was, remember bell work when we came in? It was a little assignment. It might be a couple of math problems, a couple of written problems, just to get your mind going. Nothing too strenuous.
mhm,
So I would use bell work, and
Mm.
I would ask like the craziest, most off the topic. So my bell work might be, what was the superpower you dreamed of having last night? Write
There
me
you
one
go.
sentence or two, as much as you want. Describe your superpowers last night.
mhm,
My bell work might be, how many worms did you step on this morning on your way to school? Because it rained a lot.
yeah,
You might actually stop and think of. So bell work is to make them think about their day,
Mhm.
who they are, and what they're going through.
right.
And
Okay.
we don't think about that educators, we just want to get them in the class. This assignment is due, and they got to get this assignment. Their education has nothing to do with our children's mind, body, and soul. Once we understand that as educators, we will become better facilitators of our children and what they really need to be learning and what they want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Right.
we, as educators, push a lot of things because society tells us, oh, this is what's in. Our kids don't even be interested in that shit.
Yep.
Damn.
They
Yep.
really don't. So now we got teachers in a classroom full of children that's like angry cats. Have you ever been in a room with an angry cat? You
Uh,
know, that's
Fortunately,
mad at the teacher, like, I don't want to learn this. So we have an educational system that isn't about facilitating our children at all. We
Right.
have an educational system that is not about facilitating their mind, body, and soul at all. So when
Mhm.
we talk about the keys of great health, education is always going to play a part because a part of health is the education that you have of self.
Mhm.
mhm,
Yeah. Yeah. You
yeah.
so
So my thing was I had tried to do yoga, but I don't like yoga. I found it painful and just too much. It was
Mhm.
too much. But the qigong they really like. Now, my students love yoga. So that's the
Mhm.
thing about homeschooling. The children that are into weightlifting, they can do that. I got weights. The
Mhm.
children that are into yoga, they can do that. They got yoga mats. The children that are into qigong, less, abrasive movement, they could do that. So that's
Mhm,
the thing about being a homeschooler. I understand that when you're really teaching, there's no conformity. I'm not to conform my students to one another
Mhm.
mm,
because that's what causes the cognitive dissonance. We're forcing students to conform to ideologies
Mhm.
and practices that have nothing to do with them. But the society says, oh, if you teach them this, they're going to be this way financially. If you teach them this, they're going to be this way aesthetically. If you teach them this, they're going to be this way spiritually. But when has any of it have to do with what the child wants, with what the
Yes.
student wants? Because
Yep.
if everything we're teaching them has nothing to do with who they are and who they want to be in the future, what the fuck are we doing?
That's fact. That's a fact. There are schools in England. I think it's called IBL in England that cater the lesson to each student. So whatever they want to learn, then they follow that through their whole course. And they if they're interested in anthropology, how does that tie into art? How does that tie into history? How does that
mm.
tie? It's a holistic approach to the learning system, as opposed to sit down in 1492.
Right.
No, no, no. Let them discover. And then I realized this. Everything I did, every minute I was teaching, and I didn't know it. I was teaching my students. They would watch me. Some would follow me. Some would come and have lunch with me.
Mm,
But every moment of the day, you're teaching them. So that means that you got to pay attention to what you're doing as well. But
mhm,
that holistic approach to learning about the body. Why come they don't know about the circulatory system or the red corpuscles and the white corpuscles? HDL. What is
mhm.
DHL? They're both good. We've been lied to by science. Why come
Damn.
they learning to all these things so they know what's going on to their if they do happen to have to go to a doctor? They can't be fooled by all of this talk. They can
Right.
actually, it's like, wait a minute. So my HDL, that's my high cholesterol. That means that it has a specific role in my body that it does. And then the LDL has a role of repair in my body. You know what I mean? They need to know these things.
Wow. Certain.
Thyself. more than about the food you eat. It's about it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, that's me. That's my thoughts, and I'm sticking with them.
So how damaging was it to have us eating all that shit every day? Big ass breakfast, big ass lunch, big ass dinner
Well,
every day.
I would like to speak on that.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
damaging enough to give women menstrual cycles
Mm,
because I
Oh,
realized once I became a real plant-based person who really ate plant-based only, the menstrual cycle stopped. And I'm thinking I'm free and clear because my 10-year-old, they say you free and clear, your baby 10, you good, you out the woods, shoot. I'm thinking I don't have a menstrual cycle. No, it's because I don't have a menstrual cycle because I'm the healthiest I've ever been and I'm not eating this garbage. So
right.
I learned that once you truly become plant-based, the menstrual cycles do stop. I don't care what nobody say, they stop.
Right.
And I'm still fertile
Mm-hmm.
because I got pregnant under the assumption that I'm an older woman. My youngest child is above 10 because I had my baby when she was 12.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And my menstrual, so I'm thinking, wow, okay, I don't have menstruals. No, I was just at a healthier state where I wasn't having these side effects of eating garbage food. So the menstrual for women, Homo sapien women, at least for us, the side effect for eating garbage food and the symptom is the menstrual cycle. And
Right.
if you don't want the menstrual cycle, you have to stop eating the sad American diet.
Right.
mhm.
That's right. That's right.
It
It's
takes you, plant based takes you out of the menstrual cycle. So
mm,
now, once I learned that, I had to relearn the moon because I was told that the moon controls the menstrual cycle. But then I learned that wasn't true. What I was eating was controlling the menstrual cycle. So, whoa, re education time. Mm.
Oh shit!
mm, yeah,
Wow.
just because someone says it doesn't mean it's true. They always put an element of the truth in something to make you think this is what you're supposed to do. You better investigate. That's part of the process. Learning to search and find out if this is true or not. That's what you're trying to teach your children, to bring it out of them, not to put it in, but bring it out. It's already in there. So now you're going to bring it out. You're going to show them how to do it. I just love what you were doing when you start teaching how to study. You know how important that is? How do you look for things? What does it mean? So if I don't know this word, do I keep going and just go through it? Or do I stop and figure out what this word means? You
Mm.
know? So, I mean, I'm just all over the place, but I'm just so happy.
Hey, y'all doing great. Y'all doing great. I just say whatever you want.
Well, I
Yeah,
want to
Salima.
go back to I Am Wisdom Faye, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
She says they don't even want us to know what our blood type is. And I'm going to say to everybody out there, and I know I'm going to get hit around the slap for this. Nobody knows what their blood type is. Nobody knows. You
Nope.
are told the blood type of the person you are told the blood type of the corporate entity they want your blood to go to. If type A blood is a corporate entity, type B blood is a corporate entity. Type O is a corporate entity. They're not telling you what your blood type is. They're telling you the corporate entity that's going to that can collect your blood without harming itself.
Mm,
Mm, mm.
You
mm.
do not know your blood type. You know who you're going to fucking feed your blood to. Excuse my
Yes.
language. That's what you know.
I don't know how anybody can argue with that. I don't know.
Because I see too many people that read that book and say, I'm eating for my blood type. And I look them up and down and I'm like, oh boy, you're in trouble. They're not, because they don't even know their blood type.
Yeah.
What they tell you is your blood type is the corporate entity. That's it. There
Mm,
is no O, A, B. Those are corporate entities to which your blood can be collected by lawfully under whatever contract that they have.
Hmm.
mm.
See, and that's why I say y'all can come up here messing with me if you want to, but I got something for you. I've been in the hospitals. I know what's with 2 heart attacks. They done did everything to me that they could possibly do.
Mhm.
Hansel and Gretel, yes, they do, baby. Yes, they do. So nobody knows their blood type. And anybody who has read that book, How to Eat for Your Blood Type, when I look at these people, they're usually still very fucking ill because there is no blood type. There is no blood type.
So who is that? What's Hansel and Gretel have to do with blood or blood type or anything?
Hansel and
You know, I
Gretel.
didn't watch Salima. You know, I ain't never seen
You
Hansel and
never
Gretel.
watched Hansel and Gretel?
No, I'm
Oh,
serious.
wow.
Oh,
Wait. Did you
us.
even get to watch The Dark Crystal yet?
I watched the whole thing. I took notes, so it took me 2.5, 3 hours to watch the whole
Okay.
thing because I would stop it
Dark
and take notes.
I haven't watched that. What is it? What program is it on?
It's a movie by Jim Henson, the puppet maker.
Yeah.
He created Sesame Street and the Muppets. He made a movie decades ago called The Dark Crystal. It's a puppet movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been
Page 2. Page 2. You didn't think I was gonna do it, did you? I was
like
over taking notes. I got all my notes is on page 1.
I'm gonna have to look
at I was gonna talk to you about.
It's a very deep, esoteric movie, and any child that was fortunate enough to watch The Dark Crystal is probably going to be very, very. I don't like to say blessed, but I say
it's like at 1980. That movie is 82.
82. Okay, so in 82, I was 10 years old when that movie came out, and my mind was blown.
In 82, I graduated from high school, and I'm finna be turned 60.
Right.
I was flying in 82.
You was what?
I was flying. I used to be a flight attendant.
Wow. All right. See, yes. So this is what I was saying about being in the system. And there are a lot of gems in that movie. There are a lot of gems in that movie.
So is this on Netflix?
I don't know.
I thought about.
I own the movie. I have a little DVD player because I don't like, I don't have TVs and stuff. So I own The Dark Crystal. All the movies I talk about, I own them, and I watch them repeatedly on my DVD player because I cannot watch television.
Now I need to put Hansel and Gretel on my list, huh?
Yep.
Hansel and Gretel was cold, baby.
Yes, I gotta watch that. Yeah, it's just like one of my favorites. What is it? Soylent Green
with Charlton Heston. Yes.
She told me to put that on my list.
I told the goddess to put that on her list. Yes, I did. I told the goddess she got to put that on. Soylent Green is cold-blooded. Yes.
It shows you everything. And what are we doing now? Look at your food. What's in it?
Soylent Green.
Soylent Green.
I'm definitely going to watch that tonight.
I am Wisdom Faith. I did reach out to you. I don't know if you got my email address, but this goddess is so on point. So when she said the cold is the cure, she was right, because sure enough, I put on here that the keys to great health are the working cure. Because I wanted to talk about creating a great mental net system for our health. One of the problems we have as a people is that we've been educated by colonizers. Now, I don't know if anybody has ever seen Eternals, but Eternals was a very powerful movie. A lot of people didn't like it because it was slow. It was slow because it was really intellectual and they really had something to tell you. The Eternals were sent there to keep the people dumbed down until the awakening of the celestial being. And then the celestial would have chattel to eat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we live in a system that has dumbed us down so much. When goddesses like myself, Char, the Empress, I mean, it's some goddesses and gods out here. the information we say is sometimes almost unbelievable, but it's hard to refute because you see it with your own eyes. And that's what we're offering. We're offering information that you can see and experience with your own mind, body, and soul. And that's what makes this frightening, this journey frightening at times. But when you want great health, you have to take those veils off. Because in the last show, the goddess, all of us were revealing all the disgusting things we went through and how the elders weren't sharing this knowledge because of embarrassment. And I don't want continued generational curse. The keys to great health is a part of breaking these generational curses of not having the knowledge. So one of the things I wanted to bring up today is that it is time for us as gods and goddesses to start pairing. Elder goddesses need younger goddesses to pair with. And not just because we're going to teach the younger goddesses. No, these heifers got it going on. And they be learning in a way that we learn with them. Like, you ever listen to young people talk and they blow your fucking mind? It's like, oh my God, look at this baby. Listen to this baby.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like that when you're teaching and learning with young people, you find yourself their students. And that's the best part of homeschooling. You find yourself the student of your students.
Absolutely.
That's a heavy book.
I have a saying that I used to put up in my classroom. The more I teach, the more I learn. And that's true for me.
Yeah. Wow.
That's true.
Very much so.
I find myself the student of my students. Young people blow me away. I think I'm teaching them something phenomenal and this and that. And that's one day I was giving my daughter a bath and we were talking about, you know how children are, they talk about their body when you're bathing them. And she said, Mommy, how can I be black when I'm a rainbow? I have all the colors. And I stopped and looked at her. She was like 4 or 5 years old. And I'm like, what the fuck? Right.
Wow.
Like, even she understood that she wasn't black.
That's
Out
right.
of the mouth of babes.
She understood that she was all the colors of the rainbow. From her eyes, she said, Mommy, my eyes are 4 different colors. How can they be brown? But there's white right there. So she was understanding the lessons even better than I was.
Yep.
Yes. And you see what they just said? Yeah. How to identify the organ foods.
That's right.
Yes.
Wow. Your mother was very wise.
I am wisdom. I love it.
That's right.
Okay. And yeah, her mama taught her that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because we had grapevine, we had real foods. When we were children, there was no running to the liquor store. We had grapes growing. My parents, you better go down there and pick them grapes. We had an arbor vine in our backyard. We had peppermint leaves.
I know we had a pear tree.
We had more natural stuff growing where the children could run and pick it.
Right.
But now with the acid rains, with them killing off everything that they can with these acid rains, now instead of our children running to go pick fresh food, they run into the liquor stores.
Yeah.
So this is us returning back to self.
It makes you wonder, what are these so-called elitists about? All the things they have to put into our food to make us something other than what we're not. And they've been studying us for a long time. They've been studying our brain and how, when you awaken and how to, because you remember when I told you all about that dream that I had never had that experience before and haven't since. And I want it again. But when I had that dream and I was out into the universe and the colors have a big thing to do about it. But I was speaking without speaking. And the person that was with me was speaking without speaking. And I understood everything that was going on. And I understood that the colors were important as far as mood, because colors, they have moods to them. They, like the color blue. It's calming and it makes you feel comfortable. It's soothing to the soul. Whereas the color red, all of them have duality, but the color red is more erratic, and it may make you it's unsettling sometimes. That's why I couldn't use certain things in some of the drawings that I put up. I did a mural at the school because of how the effect it would have on the brain of some of the students. So color important, all of it, understand all of it. You just got to learn. I understood. I wanted to know everything right away, and then I understood this, that I had to take in a little bit at a time, and then master that, and then get a little more, and then master that. There's sometimes where I take in information, and then excuse me, a year from now, I'd understand what was going on. And it was not, it's like, why was I struggling? Because it wasn't time yet. But when it was time, I can put it together. It's this journey is about piecing every little thing in your life together, piecing, knowledge I get from my sister Salima, knowledge that I get from my sister Yesenia, all of that. I get it from both of you. You feed me, and then I go look it up. And I'm so appreciative of all of that, because I learned from you. It's no more of this, how could I say, selfishness. I want you for one reason, I'm going to use you. I can recognize that. I see that. I see these spirits. You know what I mean? And I'm attracted to people that are going to elevate me, and I'm going to try to elevate them, because my agenda is pure. It's about love. It's about assisting our brothers and sisters to get to the next level. That's what it's about when they're ready, because nothing else. So that's why this is so important to me, for you to join forces with you and do this. I'm just like, oh, this is what I wanted to say.
So let me ask both of y'all a question, and especially since what you just said about seeing the spirits. What would you think if you saw a picture of a guy at night, whatever, and I know you've seen the movie Insidious.
I haven't seen
So
that one
when
either.
they showed that picture of him when he was a kid, and there was always this dark, witch-looking lady in the back, right?
Yeah.
What would you do in real life if you saw a picture of somebody and there's this figurine shadow of an entity in the picture?
You see it all the time. We live that every day.
Mm-hmm.
I never seen an actual entity before.
Because you know what? And let me tell you something. See, and this is what I mean by movie magic. That's movie magic. Have you ever taken a picture of yourself in front of your school?
No.
No?
No.
Have you? Okay, well, I have. Now, you know the school is known as the alma mater, right?
Yes.
That's fucking insidious, because the alma mater is your mother.
Yep.
Oh.
That's insidious.
Yes.
That is somebody who is greedy for your precious life's blood, your precious soul. That's insidious. See, movie magic won't tell you that you taking a picture in your school which says it is as good as your mother, because your mother sends you to an alma mater. And that's what that picture is about. That woman was greedy. She wanted that life, because it wasn't, the woman was twisted. She was practicing transgenderism on boys. If you caught that story, she was forcing young boys to be girls.
Wow.
See, you gotta watch. I got Insidious. I got Insidious.
I've never seen that one either, so I gotta go catch up on all of this.
Wait a minute. Okay, there's 4 parts. They're up to part 4 now, Charbay.
Huh? What?
They're up to part 4.
Oh, okay. I guess we are.
So after part 1, go see part 2 and 3 and 4. The Red Door.
Yeah. because it's
Yeah.
all.
Because Insidious is more about the lady that had the abilities like we do. We can
Mhm.
see past the veil.
Yes, yes, yes. That's very true. And you can see, I can see spirits coming. I can, not physically, but I can feel them. Let's put it that
Mhm.
way. I can
Mhm.
feel them, and I can feel the intentions
So
too.
it was me who took these pictures, and when I went back to look at them, at least two pictures. That thing was there. He said they were headlights, but I was out in the country and there were no cars coming, and didn't any cars coming. And plus, I got pictures of other people that was in the same place that he was, where he's not on it. And
Mhm.
I didn't see anything on any of my other pictures. In fact, I love photography and I'm always taking pictures on any event or where I'm at. And as clear as day, it was a shadowy figure of some entity in the background. Like say if you drew a picture with smoke, that's what it would look like. It was like a feathery or a wavery, clearly a figure or
Mhm.
entity. And so it turns out later on, I wasn't just joking when I tell him that he's got another personality, like a whole nother opposite of him who I'm sort of giving things away anyway, but this other entity didn't like me
Mm.
at all, at all, and it became a real factor and how long I'm gonna even know this person because like he's cool. I really, really like him, but the other side, when it's there, I know it. I can just look at it and see it's there.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it.
Yeah,
I don't know how you do, but you see it. That's that real
in
self.
the face, you're not smiling no more. You're all frowned up, ready to start an argument or whatever and shit. I can tell that that's that guy. Like I don't like him. He don't like me.
Okay,
Mhm.
so that's perfect because I want to go into the next segue of souling. When we talk about the keys to great health, we talked a lot last time about the physical parts of how do we gain great health physically. So when we talk about the keys to great health mentally, how do we, because we got a big job ahead of us. As a people, we are very mentally dilapidated. We have serious mental degradation. We, wow. And it's like, how do we start over? And what do we put into the next generation soulfully? Because, like I said, we want this next generation that's being born, we want them to have a strong contract of the mind, body, and soul. And
Mhm.
what we're seeing now between my generation, the previous generation, and the generation I just had, I have two separate generations because I have a 33-year-old and I have a freaking 8-year-old. That's
Mhm.
two separate
Mhm.
generations.
Yep.
So my biggest fear is their soul.
Yes.
The contract with the soul has been very much messed within this realm. When we talk about the mind, body, and soul contract, we often know how to feed the body. We often know how to feed the mind, how to abstain from drugs, how to detox. But when it comes to the soul, what are the keys to great health when it comes to our soul?
Mm.
That's a great question. That is the key. Um,
Oh yeah.
like I said, I was looking at this program about this. What do they call that program? Where the CIA was studying our um, uh, our mental capacity and what the mind is capable of doing, and how the mind is capable of solving its own problems, going into it really uh, talking about vibrations. But these are not just like regular vibrations, these are pulses. And there's a different one for the a frequency in one ear than the other ear,
Mm.
and has the ability to begin to help that person fix their products, not problems, but or their selves, or even heal themselves. Actually, now I'm not a fan of the CIA anyway, but there is something to it. There's something
Mm.
to it, and like I said, I just began to dive into, um, you know, what about this brain soul connection? What about this brain heart connection? What about what your emotions? You know, because we run off of emotions anyway. Our people in general are reactive, as opposed to um, stopping and thinking about it and what's going on. So I don't know the answer yet, but I know it is us connecting to the true self. I know it's within that range, definitely. So, and it's beginning to delve into. They were talking about the vibration. So I think frequency, or you could say vibrations, are so important. That means the music that we take in is important. Because they took the music and actually changed the conditions or the thought patterns of our young people, where it's okay to kill another brother, just walk up to them and shoot them. You know what I mean? So what does that mean? What was the music doing? And what about the beats of that music? I think Kanye called it 808 or something like that. But there are frequencies that they use, 440, that actually destroys or takes us into the direction they want us to take to go in. So the frequencies are important. So we need to understand that. Like I said, I don't have the answers. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I know I'm on the track of it. I'm moving that way. And when I know, I'm gonna let you know. You know what I mean? But it's like I know the frequencies are so important. I mean, as much as just humming, anything to bring
Mhm.
the feel the vibrations within your mouth and your body after a while. But it's that soul, that silver cord that goes out to the real you, the
Right.
real
Right.
that silver cord that connects. That's the real you. That's who you are. I am
Mhm.
not this avatar that you see right here. I am someone within. I am the spirit that lives within. And that
Mhm.
means that I need to connect to my real self, with that silver cord from my navel, you know. And it's just so much. And it's like I'm putting the pieces together, and I ain't gonna lie
Mhm.
to you, I don't know it all. I got fragments
Right.
of, because
I
this
think
journey.
we all do, honestly. I think we all have a piece of the puzzle
Mhm,
that takes us in and out of the reality and the realization of who we are.
mhm.
So I want to stay on the topic of building the soul, but I want to stay on the topic of music. Now,
Yes.
as a homeschooler, I have my own playlist. I do not listen to the radio. I
Mhm,
have a rap playlist. I have a rock and roll playlist. I have a jazz playlist. I have an old school playlist with nothing but old school songs. And I'm very selective. So when people would hear my 8-year-old like singing, Terry Collier or something like that, like how y'all, but like that's all my mama let me listen to.
mhm,
So when we talk about helping our children uh, solidify their mind, body, and soul contract, I'm quite aware that music plays an intricate part on our realm and
mhm,
that it is vital to our well being. It is not just entertainment, it is vital to our well being. At one point, I thought I wasn't married to a man because I felt like I was already married to the music. Like,
Ah.
I would literally go to the club to dance all night long to the music. And then,
mhm,
when a guy would try to pick you up and be like, dang, baby, you was jamming all night long, you'd be like, no, I'm going out. I just had a good time with my husband. I'm on my way. We going home now. You see, so music plays a vital role when it comes to igniting movement. It plays a vital role when it comes to igniting thought. It plays a
mhm,
vital role when it comes to making love. It plays a vital role when you want to get people hyped up to go to war. So we
Mhm.
understand that music is one of the most vital frequencies that is important to our people on the realm. Yet
Yes.
we're abusing the music, or we're not abusing, we're letting foreigners, we're
Hmm.
allowing foreigners to abuse that frequency and then give us the abused frequency.
Yes.
And then we're utilizing the abused frequency instead of using that pure soulful frequency. And now this
So
abused frequency by these people, by these industries, these music industries,
Yes.
causes us to push the abuse out into the community.
yep.
Go ahead,
Yep.
Goddess. I apologize. I know you want to
Yeah,
speak.
I was going to say, and since that's true, then we can imagine um, how great we were doing as a person before all of this trap music and mumble rap and all of that shit came out. Because our music was feel good music. The Knee Deep by Parliament Funkadelics, and all the funk that we was listening to, and
And not just
um,
that, yeah,
love making music and shit. I'm sure they like,
revolutionary music, the jazz poets. You know,
yeah,
we have revolutionary music,
we did
revolutionary. So our music has changed from all of that. And though it's still
that.
there, they are not, the industry is never going to promote people like India Irie, like they promote Sexy Red or Lotto Who I Love. Now don't get me
Nicki
wrong, I know
Minaj.
Lotto was there, but that little high heifer made a song called Pussy. I love that song. Listen to the lyrics before you even get mad. Listen to the lyrics before you get mad. She went straight ham. She went Gucci. So when it comes to upliftment of our people, we have to be aware that music plays a very vital role in the solidification of the mind body soul contract. Because if it's one thing that I noticed when I had my heart attack, especially that second heart attack that said I'm not gonna do this shit no more,
Damn.
was that I realized that I was allowing an outside force to intrude in on me,
Yep.
Mm,
Yep.
and that I had allowed a negative, repetitive, not just diet, but I was in a negative, repetitive relationship that was beating me down emotionally, mentally. So when we're dealing with these things weaken our mind body contract, mind body soul contract, or depending on who you are and your fortitude, it can solidify it.
Yes.
It
Yes.
can make you fight harder and say, "Oh no, I'm not going out like this. Oh no."
Yep.
So
so yeah,
go ahead, goddess.
I was just looking at the word cello and wondering how much it looks like the
Hmm.
cell in our
Hmm.
body, and wonder if there's something special about the cello or the cello that musically lifts us, since
There
it's
Yes.
is.
name, since
It
it's in the
is.
name. Yeah.
If you've
I,
ever had a chance to go hear live music, like the orchestra, the symphony
oh
orchestra,
yeah.
Yes.
um, and they're tuning their instruments, if you have the pleasure to sit while they're tuning instruments, you can feel the different instruments because they're going to tune separately
Hmm.
to see how
Hmm.
their instruments sound to them. And you can
Yep.
feel that. Now, I'm going to talk about this doctor. This is a husband and wife doctor. They're doctors, poets, laureates. They live here in Michigan. Now, this Baba is so bad, Mr. Brown.
Hmm.
He made a homemade cello or bass out of a
Oh.
tree trunk
Whoa.
that fell in their yard. And his wife gave this beautiful. We were at the Charles H. Wright. His wife is a poet laureate here in Michigan. She
Hmm.
gave a great show, and he was the music. And I'm telling you, the magnitude of this instrument that this Baba made was, it vibrated. The one instrument vibrated the whole stadium, the whole coliseum, the whole
Damn.
auditorium. That's how powerful this homemade instrument was. If you ever get a chance, look them up. Mr. and Mrs. Brown, she's a poet laureate. They're doctors, musicians. I've had the honor to see them. As a matter of fact, she's gotten on me a couple of times about my posts. She'll be like, "Young lady, you should just come on my page out the blue out." Like, Salima, you being a little rough out here with your words, young lady. So she's very eloquently spoken. You know,
Right.
she's just a beautiful, big-eyed, brown, beautiful woman, and she has a husband to match. They match in intelligence and gifts.
Yes.
So, and like I said, this man made an instrument that could reverberate a whole auditorium. So that instrument not only spoke to him and his soul, and it helped solidify the relationship he and his wife have as artists even more. So these are the relationships that I see around me. When I see them, we'll think it's just physical or we'll just call it love, but it's actually a soul building exercise. When we have these events that happen to us, that these are soul building exercises that help us solidify our
Yes.
mind, body, soul contract. So, what are these experiences that we are supposed to facilitate for our youth so they have a proper solidification of their mind, body, soul contract?
Yes.
Because when I said we was going to go deep into the keys of great health, I meant we going to start from the baby on up and from the parent on down. And these are
Absolutely.
all the questions, because
Yeah.
now we find ourselves with more questions than answers.
That's right. We got work to do. Yeah, but we, if you think about what we have created in the past, all of it, the music, especially when it, in the music genre, all of it, we created it all. So what does that mean? That's where our strength lies, right?
Yes, absolutely.
When you're talking about the person that you're yoked to or you're with, the wrong vibrational or the low vibrational person that you get connected and can literally kill you.
Literally,
Literally.
I can
Yeah,
vouch for that.
literally. So
That's
you got to be careful. I took me a little while, but I realized that I am more precious. I'm worth. No one can just cause they like the way I look, or they like something about me. Jump in. It's like you're gonna be mine. Let's have sex. No, 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 no. You we gonna have to match in all ways. So that means I am not going to pick up any entities from you because I'm going to investigate you. And it's like, and after a while, after, they can only hold that. I'm talking about for the negative, the low vibrational person.
Right.
You know,
right.
and some of the things that they say and think that you're supposed to go along with because they said you're beautiful, and you look at them and then you begin to look and say, let me see who you really are. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you find out, it's like I already knew who you were. My spirit told me that. I knew. I looked and I saw. So you're not getting any part of me because you're undeserved.
Right.
Not this. I
Oh,
deserve you. I
Right. We
deserve.
have to start making ourselves so accessible too, because I find that I meet a lot of people. They want my number, they want to call me, and I had to stop that.
Yep.
And like I said in one of my previous videos, I said I had to cut it off because I realized, as phenomenal as I think I am, to a lot of people, I'm an asshole. Because I'm a critical thinker, and you can't just say anything to me. I'm going to slice and dice your ass
Yes.
because I think critically. I've been through enough to know when I don't want to hear that. Mm-mm.
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So even women, I found that I had to be careful with women because sister energy feels so good and you want to connect with other women, but I had to be leery of other women because they would lead you onto me and be like, "Oh,
Yes.
sister, your knowledge, you're so powerful. You're
Uh-huh.
just, oh yeah, we're gonna," but they still had no more good intention towards me than the men.
And you can see that. You can
So we
feel.
have to be careful when we're out here sharing ourselves also.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm. Sharing
Yeah.
our knowledge and sharing ourselves.
I found that, however painful it was or will be, I found myself having to detach from some because some of our folks are just about drama and that's it, and using you.
Exactly.
Right.
And I
Right.
have no time for that. I have no time. I've been here 66 years. So that means that I am not here to fool around and let you fool around with my life because you're not going to control me. I control this shit. You hear me? And I am apologizing for saying shit either. But I I control this shit here. And I am not going to let you come in and try to put yourself, because they'll really have you end up in all kinds of situations. You
Yeah.
wonder, how did I get here? How did I get here? It's like, no, that's it. Was just put the sign up? No, I can't. I can't do that anymore. I cannot let you. I'm
Yes.
you out too. And when I see that everything in your life is about drama, I want that in my life. You're not edifying me, not in one way. Not one way. Mm-mm.
Right, right, right.
Can't tell.
Wow.
Music, but everything we hear, what we hear, what we see, what we do is so important. What we
Hmm.
How we perceive the world, what we put out in the world, we control. This is my universe, and everybody else is running around in it. That's the way I
That's
feel about
right. That's right. That's how I feel.
it.
That's definitely how I feel. I'm the center of my universe. I
Right. That's right.
am that.
That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, I have closed myself off from negative entities. No, you cannot enter here.
Yes,
No.
that is so important, Charbe. Because
Yeah.
you can spend a lot of fucking time with the wrong person.
Right.
That, and it could kill you.
It could kill you or
I felt like
literally
I was dying. I
see.
felt like I was dying while I was with a certain someone, and I literally had to leave and go away and turn to my sister Salima
Hmm.
for like shit. How do I stop myself from dying right now?
Yeah.
That's how I felt. It was serious. It was serious as hell to me.
Yeah.
Right.
You know. You
So
know. Go ahead,
no,
sis.
guys, go ahead.
I've found that I found I've at this in my early 60s. Well, I'm still kind of in the early 60s. I found that I finally figured it out when it came to love with another person. Um, I had began to. I thought this person loved me the same way, and I'm sure they had in their own way. But what I found that I was giving to that other person was actually supposed to have been given to me. I was supposed to have been giving it to me, not them. I was supposed to be giving
Mm.
it to me. That same love vibration I was putting out there, and I mean, I was heavy with it. I was just head over heels. But I learned that, oh, this is how I'm supposed to love myself. This is what I'm supposed to do for myself. Every advantage I gave to them, I should have been giving to myself. And then they match theirs, and then maybe we can get together. But I realized that I had talked myself into this relationship, into this love, just because I felt it
Hmm.
felt good. And it did. It felt real good. And I hadn't felt that way in a long time. But the point is, what I learned from that relationship, everything that I gave him was what I was supposed to be giving to myself. Because when we actually got together and decided to live together, I found out that's what was going on. I was doing this. I don't know
Hmm.
what he was doing. I don't care. That's his business.
Right. But that's the
But
thing about being in love. Usually we're the ones in love. We don't
yes,
even we don't even count the other person.
right.
See, we have
Mm.
to be aware that we're the ones who's in love. You don't know what the other person is going through. This is what you're going through.
Right. Right.
Right.
That's
So
Yeah.
when we deal with partners and partnering, we do often lose ourselves. You know, we pick up their habits, we pick up their traits, we inadvertently follow them or let them lead as they inadvertently follow us or let us lead. That's a two-way street. That
Yes.
literally is. It inadvertently happens. We don't always mean for it to happen. Like we'll have a partner who's overweight. We'll say we'll never be overweight, but let them be cooking good in the neighborhood for you. You're
Mm.
gonna gain. You're gonna start looking like your partner.
Absolutely.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I had a partner where I hadn't smoked in years, but all of a sudden, because he was smoking, I picked up smoking again. And he was
Damn.
older than me, so he had a huge influence on me.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so when we're talking about the keys of great health, how do we not lose ourselves in these partnerships that we choose for ourselves,
Yeah.
inadvertently or unintentionally?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Just because we want to be with them or be near them. And
Right.
how do we recognize when our partner is doing the same too?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because I
Yeah.
had someone that I love very much, and I realized I had a fucking nasty habit. And
Mm-hmm.
I let them go because I realized I was hurting my partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't
Right.
like that about myself. They made me what I was seeing made me accountable and realized I didn't like that about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And because they loved me so much, I could see that I was given the ability to continue that behavior, and the only way it was going to stop is if I left.
That's right.
So that's the hardest part of detoxing. When you are the fucking bad drug,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
gonna hold yourself accountable when we're the bad drug in the relationship. When we are, how do we hold ourselves accountable?
Mm-hmm.
Because we'll say, well, we give our power away. Do we hold ourselves accountable as partners when we realize we have a partner that truly loves us and they're giving away a part of themselves they shouldn't be given to us? How
Hmm.
strong are we not to abuse that power?
Right.
Because
Right.
that's a part of soul building,
That
not
is.
abusing power. Can you be handed power and not abuse it?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. You know,
So
it's yeah, we all of that. All of that. Yeah.
Right. Right. Right.
You know,
All of that.
but you know, you already know the answer to all of those questions. You already know the answer when uh, someone comes into your life. You know, you see it, but you choose to ignore. Well, that's no, I'm not going to say everybody. I said this is what I learned about myself and took my responsibility for what was going on in the relationship because I seen all the signs, but I chose to overlook it because after all, he's with me and he's going to be better anyway. I this person changed their whole presence online just to get me. And
Right.
then when they got me, then the real them came out. So I wasn't getting who I thought I was getting. I was getting an image, an avatar of what he present to me. So it's like because I do take responsibility for all relationships. I do a lot of self reflection to see, okay, so where did I go wrong? What did I do? And and then try to correct anything that I've done, possibly, like you said. All of this is important in our health, and then that's why I know that I can't get on here and say all men are bad or all women are bad. Because if I do that, then I have missed the whole point. And I have not, that's when you know that you haven't even looked at yourself, you know, at all. So there's so much to this, but it is a holistic approach. And yes, the music is so crucial. The music is what, when I'm creating, the music is what motivates me and moves me on, that give me that drive. I can feel the music and it comes through my fingers and it comes out in the paint and then it comes out in the shape because I have an idea, but when I finish, it's something else. I didn't plan that. It told me what it wanted to be. It told me it created itself.
facts, facts. I feel you, goddess.
Yeah. So this is so healing for me to get anything that I feel and to hear the perspective of my sisters and hear what you have to say because it helps me to process and heal my own self and going because I am never at the I'm totally no I'm constant ever evolving sister ever learning always looking always wanting seeking and I know it's out there because it's seeking me
Oh my God.
so
Yeah, facts.
Damn.
that's my attitude and again it's my story and I'm damn sticking to it.
So, to the goddess Yasini, who not
Yes.
only loves music, makes music, raps music, put her poetry to music, out here making beats for artists right now.
Mhm.
Oh.
How do you
Mm.
feel about the connection of music and the soul when
Yes.
it comes to the keys of great health?
Um, I think it has a lot to do with soothing the savage beast in you, for one. So I already know if I'm sitting listening to music all day and it causes me to do so many things in silence or just to that music in the background because I'm being soothed. Not only that, I'm my most creative.
Mm.
When I've got, and it's got to be the right kind of music. I'm not sitting in here doing jewelry to no rap music. Okay. I want to hear those instruments. I believe I didn't like it when they switched to electronic sounds.
Mm.
I did it. My soul didn't like it. It wasn't the same thing.
Mhm.
And in old school, we'll put the music on and do the whole house, do the dishes. It'll be blasting through the house and shit. I
Mhm.
lost I lost a lot of that when the new school people came out, and because I was young and didn't understand that what they were actually doing, which was putting those 808s in your ass and
Mhm.
slowing it down to the 432 hertz music instead of what we should be on and
Mhm.
listening to. We know I had no idea that how intelligent the cells were back then. So my knowledge of how I felt when I listened to certain music, it was just there. I didn't
Yeah.
have to read and see why. I felt the difference every time. So
Yeah.
when it's speaking to my soul, that's the one of the greatest feelings that I feel. And so when they do tell you that music soothes the savage beast, it soothes the savage beast and the soul and the spirit, like
Yeah.
whatever it is. Or if it's not soothing it, then it's bringing out the savage beast. Okay, making you feel like drinking or smoking to it and all that kind of shit.
Mhm.
I don't know what I would do without my music. And everybody who knows me knows one of my favorite artists is Tina Marie.
Yeah.
Prince and Michael Jackson are well liked because they stay with the frequency of the earth and their
Mm.
music, and that's why they're so popular. The
Yeah.
most popular people in music are the ones who's doing it at a level where you can
You can
what's
do
the
it.
right word? I can actually coalesce and be in the song or in the music with the instruments. And I
Mhm.
just hate, while I do things around a real musical artist, I really do hate that I never played anything. I should have played at least the drums or guitar, but I love the saxophone,
Yes.
all
Yes.
jazz, but I like certain jazz like that just brings it out because it's all music. A lot of people won't listen to it though. But
Yeah.
really, that artist who comes along and lays her voice on top of the music should always be sending your vibrations high. And
Mhm.
so, when you high and when you mellow like that, you don't want to be around a lot of people. I
Yeah.
don't, if I go to a party, I really don't expect nothing out of it but bad things, drinking, smoking,
Mhm.
maybe be getting into it with another drunk or just let everything out. Now, I will go to a concert. I love concerts. In fact, I went to see Barry White one time, which is one of the best concerts I ever been to. And
Yeah.
again, and who knows me is like I'm concert down, especially growing up. Barry White plays for orchestra. He has an orchestra, right? With
Yes.
real instruments.
Mhm.
You can't imagine if you haven't went and seen him. You can't see him now, but if you never went and saw him in concert back when he was alive, then you don't really know what I'm trying to tell you about his music. For one, he had like a whole back row full of women that looked like mannequins and didn't move for the longest time. And then a song came on and they start moving to the music. That was like, wow, look how much thought he's putting into his music.
Mhm.
When I'm making my jewelry, my music has to be pristine. Okay,
Yes.
that's why a lot of people tell me when they get my necklaces, they felt my energy. I'm
Hmm.
always thinking, hi baby. That looks so good on you, Charbe. I mean, I keep staring at it like
I'm
and it's
looking
hitting me
at
all
it.
kinds of ways.
It-
I'm like, wow.
I just love this.
It,
But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
you know what that is, right? My thought necklace she got on.
Okay, so I don't know how much time we're going to be up here, but I'm trying to keep it rolling a little bit.
Oh,
So
Oh,
everybody got a little bit of homework. I got a question for everybody in the chat, the panel. What is the one song that you hear, you get your ass up, you start dancing immediately? It's just that good.
oh wow. There's so many.
For me, it's the Mary Jane Girls, Candyman. I'm sorry, that little sister be rocking the lyrics. I get up and start
Oh
singing and dancing to
yeah.
that song
See,
every time.
see how you went straight
Time
to the
I
point?
hear Candyman, I always get up. It's something.
yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
I know what it is for me. Now, this may sound weird, but the Earth Song by Michael Jackson, I get lost in that.
That is a great
That's a
song.
great song.
Great song.
Yeah.
And mine is gonna be this song called "Standing on the Verge of Getting It On" by it's not Parliament, but it was one of the guys with him.
Yeah.
"Standing on the Verge of Getting It On" by damn it, he did it live with Parliament, and that's when it came and stuck on me. But it's one of the other guys that hang with. You know, Parliament is so big with so
Yeah.
many names. The
Yeah.
Funkadelic, George Clinton, Boosie Collins come from that
Okay,
day.
so this is the chat, y'all. Smoking
But
and G Sharp said, Cisco Kid, I love war.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I know
Yeah.
that's right.
oh, that
Yeah.
was war.
But
What the yeah.
Yes, yes.
So and
Shield
I
my
am Wisdom Face says flashlight. Ow!
anything, anything George Clinton made.
yes. Yes.
Thing.
Hmm.
Yes.
So
It's
when
I
so
am
yeah.
when
Cisco
we're talking
Kid.
about solidifying the mind, body, and soul contract, when we're talking about building the soul, music obviously is an intricate part of soul building.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Like soul building, like in maturation of the soul, or
Hmm.
Yes, and
like
maturing the soul.
Hmm.
So because music speaks to all of our frequencies on different currents. It speaks to our sadness, it speaks to our happiness, it speaks to our joy, it
Hmm.
speaks to our lust, it
Hmm.
speaks to our parenting. I mean, there are songs about every part of our life. I believe the children are. I mean, there are songs
Uh,
about everything that can
mhm.
either build the soul or tear it down, destroy
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
right.
So I just wanted to be clear that, or be aware that we are all on the same page, that music is an integral part of
Yes.
solidifying the mind, body, and soul contract and helping to build the soulful part up
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
that contract.
Right. True
Can you
that.
imagine what it feels like for a dancer to put some music on and then act out that music?
Yeah.
Powerful.
Hmm.
Because
Yes.
I don't play any instruments, but I can dance all night.
Uh,
I love all type of, like I said, I even got a rock and roll list.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
easy. 100 songs
oh
easy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
I got.
love rock.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love rock.
I love it all. I do. Have you ever heard of Yanni?
Oh yes.
I used to
I
Yanni.
play the
love Yanni.
I felt that music made me feel like it was creativity in itself, and so I play with for my students. Yeah, I love it.
And
It
how you
has
feel, Yanni?
the
How you feel, Yanni?
Yanni. I liked it Yanni's music because I didn't like my parents liked to take us out. I had older parents. Like my father was 50 when I was born. So
Okay.
his thing was taking us to orchestras, jazzes, and
Mm-hmm.
plays. But I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like orchestra. I don't like orchestra music. But when I was introduced to Yanni, I really enjoy his sense of orchestra. And now
Yeah.
when I hear these other orchestrated artists out like I think it's FKJ or FJK, something like that. But anyway, he's mostly instrumental and his music is like really beautiful, but not as orchestrated as Yanni's was, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So Yanni is what I would say got me into orchestra music
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't like the European sound that they kept claiming was growing plants. And on me and my kids, I mean, like we tried and we were in our, we don't like this. It's creepy.
All
I
right.
mean, orchestra music was creepy to us.
Uh-huh.
And then, and people would try to introduce the opera, which was really sad. I mean, it just brought us down and I couldn't understand like how are they like whose frequency is they talking about when they say this is good music because we don't feel good when we listen to this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love opera. I do.
Really?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
absolutely.
So I'm thinking that each person is on a different frequency to receive different. Like we're not all gonna. There's no way, and I don't care if we're all because we have an idea that if we're melanated, we don't like rock, and that's not true. I have a whole rock
Oh,
list
I love
here.
I
Yeah.
love rock and roll.
So we have a distinct, like I love Latin music. I love the
Yeah.
old, I like the old school Latin. I like
Yes.
Tito Puente. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I like
Mm-hmm.
old school. I like
Mm-hmm.
the Kings of
Nigerian.
Mambo type Latin music. I don't like
Right.
this. The new Latin music sound like this new American bullcrap. I don't like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like the old
And
school. I like the Mambo Latin
Yeah.
music.
Well, my plants, I have a first personal preference for Indiari. They love
yeah, of
it.
course. Yes. And
Well, you know,
I want to take this to the other level. Now, the
Mhm.
same thing we're saying about the music in our souls and all. What about the location that we're in? Can some places just make you sick? Like Milwaukee makes me sick.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I used to. Um, there's a place out here called Coolidge. I live in a rural area, and Coolidge is where I first began my teaching career in Arizona. And when I entered this particular town, it was like an ominous feeling would come over me every time I would enter this town, and it was like that for everybody. I think the children that I taught, and they were junior high, and I could feel the burden on them. And I had a lot of Native Americans who were experiencing a lot of things. And one day I'm kind of getting off of it, but one day I asked one of my female Native students, why do you dress like a boy? And she
Like a
said,
what?
a boy. And I just asked her straight up. I was just so interested because all of the Native girls would, dress down and they would be no sign of femininity at all. And she told me to keep ourselves safe.
yeah.
Mm.
And that was a reality where I was.
Oh, okay. I was a little slow on that. I get it.
Uh-huh.
I get
Well,
it.
this is
So,
the thing. I live in Detroit, and coming up as a teenager, my mother hated it, but I dressed like a boy. I
mhm,
looked like a boy. I
mhm,
wore jeans, Adidas, and a t-shirt. I still dress that way now, and most of the time it is to keep myself safe. We live in communities where no one wants to acknowledge the abuse that we face as women or the
yes,
danger.
yes.
Like I'm 50 years old and I walk around in my community and I'm still being followed home.
Mhm,
Mm.
That doesn't make at 50, you would think no one would want to follow a 50-year-old home, but there's still
Yeah.
I'm out and about and I still get followed home, like literally. And I
yeah,
would think that if I'm not dressed a certain way that they wouldn't do it, but it doesn't matter.
yeah,
So
yeah.
a lot of times when you see the communities where the girls are often dressed like, even my daughter, my 20-year-old is dressed like a boy.
Mm-hmm.
She has the body, a Victoria's Secret model would kill to have her body, but
Mm-hmm.
she's dressed like a boy. Why do you think my 20-year-old beautiful daughter is dressed like a man?
Mm.
Because she doesn't want to be seen as sexually
Right.
attractive. She
Right.
doesn't want to be hit on in a nasty
Right.
verbal way if she doesn't respond. Because my
Right.
daughter was out with me at one point and she was nothing but 14. And this guy rode up in the Corvette, like, hey, don't you hear us talking to you? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, what do you want? He said, well, I'm speaking to her. I said, first of all, I'm her mother and she's 14.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know he still tried to sidestep me and my authority as a mother over my child and said, well, did your mother teach you to speak? I immediately stepped in front of my daughter and said, I just said she's 14. There's nothing to say to her.
That's right.
Right.
Bitch.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
we live in societies where the men just assume we want to be masculine. No, we live in a society where if I'm my natural, beautiful, authentic self,
Yeah.
people have think they have the right to say and do with us whatever we want, and because they say we're beautiful, that gives them the keys to the gate to my company.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I know
Yeah.
I'm beautiful without you. Say that and keep pushing.
Thank
Say
you.
that and keep pushing. That's all
Right.
I got. Say, okay, I appreciate the compliment, but keep it moving.
Yeah.
Right.
So now we have whole generations, and you see it in the videos. All the women are dressed like what? Even the most beautiful women,
Yep.
they got on jogging pants, jogging suits, t-shirts. They got on men's clothing. Why? Because we don't want to be verbally harassed. Because the minute you do not give these men or respond in kind, your beauty all of a sudden turns, oh, you wasn't that fine anyway, bitch. You wasn't that
Right. Yeah,
fine.
they gonna curse you.
Blah, blah, blah. They turn real nasty. And these are the
Real quick.
so-called good men and nice guys in our community that feel that if they just speak to you, you're supposed to give them a 20-minute conversation.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, we as women, when it comes to the keys of great health, how do we really soul build in communities that have us denying one of the most vital parts of ourselves, our femininity? Is
Yes.
in danger, is a threat at all times.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do we? Because you see, I mean, you can see the videos. You can watch any video, just everyday people. You will always see one or two young ladies dressed like a young man.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
won't wear dresses. Why won't we wear dresses? Because some boy think it's all right to stick his hand up my dress or touch me
Right.
inappropriately or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to address these barriers that we face as women when we're talking about building. How can you build a strong mind, body, and soul contract when when your physical body is constantly under attack at some time, which
Yes.
means you're mentally under attack.
Yes.
So now
Right.
your soul
Right.
is being worn down because we're being told it's just boys being boys.
Mm.
Mm. I did write down some questions that I wanted to get out of y'all.
Okay, go
While I
ahead,
got your
baby.
book here together.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and Salima did talk about education and the soul on a Reverend Ike video,
Uh-huh.
but I wrote down some other stuff that we
Mm-hmm.
talked about that I wanted to include today, and that is the herbalist portion of this thing.
Mhm.
So we talked about alfalfa, which I didn't know what that was, but anyway, it's a dandelion tea that detoxes the body.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to talk to y'all about about what you're eating, what you're growing, Charbet, in your garden.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you know about dandelion tea
Mm-hmm.
or what the leaves and all of that. We don't have to grow it, do we? So where are
No,
we picking it from?
it's an organ.
In the yard,
It just comes up. Yeah. You're
right?
right.
But how do we
You know,
know?
I'm
How do we
sorry.
know that it's not sprayed with pesticide or
It is.
Hmm.
and we eat it anyway?
Yeah, because the great mother gave it to you. What else are you going to eat, goddess?
Yeah,
I love dandelion. Don't get me wrong, but you said I could just go in the yard and pluck it and eat it.
pluck
Yeah.
it up,
Yeah.
clean it real good, and eat it. That's
Salad,
it.
stir fry. I stir fry with my spinach when I want to make me like I'll make me some noodles and
Hmm.
make me a vegetable stir fry. Stir my dandelions in right with my spinach.
Yeah,
Okay, so I see dandelion is a yellow flower, but a lot of times it turns into let's just all white um stuff that flies right off if you
That's the
catch it.
seeds. That's
yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
seeds to start pollinating.
yeah. And that's how
So
you
they're
get.
white first and then they're yellow.
No, they're yellow first and then they're white.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it just grows. It's just like in behind my backyard there was a cotton field, and in this cotton field on the sides of the road grows this particular weed called is this mellow or schmellow, one of the two. But we looked it up, and don't ask me what it means because I forgot. But it had so many power pack uh, antioxidants and and minerals in it that it was ridiculous. So my cousin and I turned the car around and picked them. Well, the cotton field, they just looks like they're not going to do it anymore. So I haven't seen any since. But we go pick it up, and it's like, why didn't I think to just go pick a bush and then plant it in my yard, and then I would have been okay because I'm right behind the field anyway. But I've been looking for it, you know, for a while now. But because the field has gone dormant, I don't see it anymore. But I'm
Right.
gonna go find another cotton field somewhere because they grow. But it grows like a flower, like a leaf like this, and it's all green and it's kind of hairy, but it's like dandelions, very beneficial to the body. And so it's like, so those are the ones that Mama gives us. You like
Yeah.
you said, Salima. Yeah, because I listen to you, girl. and and those are the ones that are given by Mama. So you
Hmm.
know they're going to be power pack, and they're going to have the things that you need in it. Just look it up and make sure that it goes with you, and your body will tell you whether it's good for you or not. Anyway, so
So when we were talking last time, Goddess, you talked about why do we have a health food section in the health food store, in the grocery store.
yep,
So I'm going to go back to our live that I had did with the Goddess about the organ versus organic when I was talking about how organic food doesn't have as much taste or as nutrients as organ food, which is really bitter or really sweet. Now,
hmm,
the reason why we have a health food section in the supermarket with organic food is because organic food does not give you all the vitamins and minerals that you need, which is why they create the supplements to fill in what the organic food is not giving you. Because we know the organ food gives you everything. The organ food provides you everything you need and want. Hey, baby. Okay, so when we're eating organic food, we often need the supplements
yes,
Mhm.
because you aren't getting the vitamin C you need. You aren't getting the magnesium, the copper. You see,
hmm,
you're not getting all these other vital minerals that you need.
right,
Instead,
Right.
they're going to tell us we need calcium, and
mm,
calcium has nothing to do with us. That's a bovine thing.
mm,
Okay. So now they have us learning, they have us relearning our realm under the guise of herbalism.
yeah,
Hmm.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's not herbalism, it's our realm. It is the food.
the food, yes,
Because we have been taught that you're supposed to eat 3 big meals and have your plate should be full. And what the great mother grows out doesn't look like that.
yeah,
See, and,
Right.
and, and that's where the cognitive dissonance comes into play. What we've been taught about nutrition and diet and food is not what the great mother is showing you
yeah,
is your nutritional intake and valuable foods.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the disconnect. How do we reconnect? Because we have a visual literacy on how food should look. We
Mm-hmm.
got chefs from all over the world making the food look fabulous. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what
Right.
great mother growing up don't look like that.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Even though we run to it to save our lives when we're in distress.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
part of the keys of great health is that accepting what is not visually beautiful to us,
Yes.
what does not
Right.
taste refined to us, because what the great mother gives us is not refined.
Right.
That ain't
Mm-hmm.
the mama. When I pull out my titty and feed you, I don't put salt and sugar and I don't put butter on it before I put it out and I give it to you and you ate it.
Yeah.
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 So what the great mother gives us hasn't been refined. That's our job. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not our job in the sense that if we refine what the great mother gives us, now we're adulterating.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to use these same adulterated methods that have been used on us with human organic food staples. And we don't want that. We want to learn how to eat our organ nutrient food staples naturally as they are,
Yeah.
but our tongues are adulterated.
Yeah.
I've seen this across the board. Eva, I can't eat that. I can't. You about to die. What you mean you can't eat that? You about to
Right.
die.
Right.
I haven't,
Yep.
and I hear it all the time. I can't eat. I'm gagging. And I watch him die. Like I would, like they would really rather die than eat some of the healthy stuff that's out here.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about detoxing and being an addict, I don't mean like drug users who have to. I mean we are freaking addicts. We are
Yes.
willing sometimes to go to the grave to not taste something
Yeah.
even though it
Right.
will save our life, just not to taste the
Yeah.
texture or to
Yeah.
smell it.
And that's mental.
That's
That's a
mental.
mental problem for real.
Because I think we used to eat bitter was part of our whole diet when we were
Bitters.
back. It was
Yeah.
the bitters. Bitter melon that tastes like quinine. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, smoking it and G Sharp got me laughing. G Sharp is
Yeah.
cracking
And
up. We were talking so much, and I was talking about the clothes. She said, and I'm sitting here in sweats because I was talking about how we dress like men.
right.
And now she laughing because we talking about the food, how people won't, how we won't. But yeah, our food is bitters, and we've been turned away from the bitters
Mhm.
due to the sugar. See,
Yes.
the sugar turn because we love oranges. We love sweet fruits.
Hmm.
Right.
The natural fruit isn't what turned us away from the bitters. It's the adulteration of our tongue through sugar. So
Hmm.
our natural bitters like broccoli, like cabbage,
Hmm.
Brussels sprouts,
Hmm.
greens. Those are like bitters.
Yeah.
Certain teas are bitters. Paul d'Arco, that's a bitter.
Yeah.
Uh, burdock, that's a bitter.
Yes.
Catnip, it's a bitter. If it tastes bad, it's considered a bitter. But guess what? All the bitters is the shit that's gonna keep you alive.
Right.
Bitters keep you alive, and so
Yes.
do our fruit.
Hmm.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
we.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So it's just that we've been adulterated from the food of the natural realm.
Hmm.
So when we talk about solidifying our contract, even when it comes to eating, we have to realize that the soul is eating this too.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we feed the mind and the body, the soul is eating it too, and it has a say about it.
Hmm. Yep.
The mind got something to say, the tongue got something to say, the body show gonna show you whether like it or not. The
Yep.
soul lets you know also.
Hmm.
But I don't think we were listening
Hmm.
because we don't understand that there are three different entities who are in synergy working together.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. It's just like with orange juice. I refuse to buy your orange juice in the store. I have to make it myself. I have to make it myself. So I make my own orange juice because I understand. I do know this. If it separates, that means it hasn't been proper processed. So every juice, any juice that I get, I make it. Out of the real fruit, no sugar, no nothing, just the fruit itself. So I understand that if it separates, then it's real. But if it don't and it stays together, I don't. We don't know what we're drinking out of these stores. It's not health food. Those orange juices are not health. Simply what orange? I used to get that all the time. Then I found
Mhm.
out all the chemicals in it, and they're being sued, and we drink it anyway because it's good for us, right?
It
They
tastes
told us,
so good.
yeah, and yeah, but it's old, processed, whatever oranges, and then they put chemicals to keep the flavor, to give it the flavor, and then those artificial flavors, is what they call them, natural flavoring. What the hell is that? You
It's
know that,
all factory made flavors.
right?
So
I,
and that's why I have a problem with some of these new apples. I like people love this Honey Crisp apple.
mhm,
They love the smell. They love the texture. It's juice now.
mhm,
It's not a real apple. Like my teeth can't even eat these new apples. Some of these apples are so hard. I never tasted nothing. Like
mhm.
apples used to didn't be that hard. I don't know what's going. Like the new food is harder.
Yeah, yeah,
And people look at me, we're like, what you mean new food? The new packaged food is new, is harder.
yeah. It
Like
is.
back in the day, people knew the difference between a peach and a nectarine.
Yeah,
People don't know the difference between a peach and a nectarine, and they get mad at me when I spit out the nectarine and throw it down. It's hard as a fucking rock,
yeah,
but
yeah,
Right.
they are soft and
yeah,
juicy, and they melt all over you from the first bite to
Right.
the. I mean, it's like having a whole cup of juice without the
Right.
cup. When you
yeah,
eat
Yeah.
a peach. Nectarines do not do that. They
Yeah. I
look like
think so
peaches,
too.
but they are not peaches. And it's a genetically modified because why does it look like a peach but it's hard as a damn apple?
yep.
Mm.
I don't like them. Nope.
Yeah.
But I feel you. That's right. I nearly lost my mind when I was living in China and I tasted some of the fruits that were coming from the farmers. I don't know what they sent back here, but I nearly lost my mind. I was like, this is what a real orange tastes like.
What?
I'm serious. I go to places like even in Madrid, some of the fruits don't taste the same.
Mm.
Our food have been totally taken over
Damn.
some entities that think they know what's best for us.
They
But
And
purposely sending us the bad stuff and putting it in the grocery stores in our neighborhoods.
well,
absolutely, this
and,
was
and this is why I enjoyed living on the farms last year. So last year I was able to institute my program, the Indigenous Women Program, where I traveled to 3 different farms.
mhm,
And I didn't stay in the farmer's home. I literally stay on the farm
mhm,
when I'm able. I don't like to be in people's home if I can avoid it because to me you don't get the feel of the farm in the home. You have to be on the farm, literally living there.
mhm,
Hmm.
So if it's one thing I noticed is that the food tastes better. The greens tasted better. The greens that I picked and cooked for myself
mhm,
taste better fresh off the farm than the greens I gotta go to the market to get.
Mm.
right,
There is nothing as fresh and delicious as the food you
All
pick
right.
right
Yeah.
then and there. You
mhm,
know what it is, you grew it, you cooked it, you know the exact ingredients you putting in there, and the way it melts in your mouth. People always say greens are tough, but if you grow your own greens and cook your own greens, they melt like butter, baby, in your mouth.
Okay.
oh,
Period.
Okay.
Like even collards
yeah,
are
oh,
tender and delicious when you grow them yourself.
that's right. That's right. Let me tell you a little story about farming. I originally grew up in Missouri, and I had an uncle who had a farm in Illinois, and he had a pretty decent sized farm, and he would supply some of the greens and vegetables from his farm to the grocery store. And one of our people told him, because they didn't look like they did in the big supermarkets told him that I'm not paying for your Cadillac. These greens don't look good, but they were natural. They were organic. They had nothing in them to harm you. And he said this to my father. And so my father kept stopped, getting it from my uncle because number one, he couldn't sell them because we are so brainwashed, and we think if Mr. Who can I think of, Piggly Wiggly or fries or Kroger.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't come from one of them, it's not real food. And the realest food you got coming from these local farmers. And I was thinking the other day about this. Why come in each neighborhood, whether it's in the city or wherever it is, can't form their own gardens and trade among themselves by feeding the community, since we don't have uh, these major stores in our community? Why come we can't form a little group? And I know some have done that, very few, but some. But we actually need some real groups in the city. We need some real fruits and vegetables that we can grow wherever the city or state that we live in, that we can distribute among the cities, the people, the children in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So why come now we're not working towards that, as opposed to um, wanting a McDonald's in the area, or running to
Mm-hmm.
Chick-fil-A or Wendy's, which none,
Well,
and I mean none of them have anything that's beneficial for health. I
well,
wouldn't pay a penny for none of it.
right.
None.
Well, here in Detroit, we do have a big agricultural movement because
Mhm.
Detroit is basically a food desert. And the Arabs own all the markets, and the food that they give us is garbage.
Yes.
Damn.
So most of the good food that I get during the spring and summer comes from the elders who grow
Mhm.
food for their communities. They not asking for no money. All they
Mhm.
ask is that you come help, volunteer, you come feed yourself and your family, come help pull up some weeds, do some
Yeah.
watering. So there's a big food movement here in Detroit to keep us fed
Mhm.
because we know what they're doing to us here in the city.
Yeah.
Now, part of the pushback is that we have blacks that want to move in and become the farmers and the stores.
Mm.
Mm.
We have people that saying we don't want that.
Mm-mm.
Why? Because black farmers don't get discounts the way other farmers do.
Right.
So when black farmers are talking about feeding their low income communities,
Mhm.
usually your produce can't feed us because it does not, you can't provide low income families. Your
Right.
farm has high price overhead because
Right.
you're a black farmer and the USDA don't treat you right, and neither do the other companies when you're trying to have your farm. Black farmers pay more for everything, just
Yeah.
like black business owners pay more for everything. They don't get the discounts across the board that everybody else get.
Mhm.
Right.
Now we have black people who are opening up these stores with the same astronomical fucking prices that
Yeah.
steal prices out, and some of them are opening and they can't even, they're not even on the government list to accept the food stamps, and now they're opening, they want you to pay cash.
Uh-uh.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the conundrum. And then I hate this because I hate to put our farmers on blast, but how dare you tell your people who you know are not financially inclined that way that they
Mhm.
should support you the same way they support Myers, Walmart, and we don't want to. We're forced to do that. So now you
Mm-hmm.
enter the game as a black farmer and say, "Well, you did it for their ass." So you're
Mm.
Mhm.
saying you're going to play the same game on us as they play? Because
Right.
you as a black farmer, you're going to put, or a black grocer, you're going to put your store in our community. Well, thank you, but we're still hungry.
Thank you. Make it make sense.
Right. So now
Yeah.
we have a push against the elders, a lot of whom I helped last season, who
Mhm.
don't get the money, who don't have the help because they're not going to go the USDA way. They're not going to apply to, we don't qualify for grants if you're
Mm-hmm.
Right.
not part of one of their systems or part of their block clubs or part of, you don't qualify. So as a black grower, it's all on you. So
Mhm.
as
Right.
me being indigenous, with me coming up with the program of the Indigenous Women's Program, I'm able to help black growers who just want to feed the community.
Yes.
So and that's part of my vetting system.
Mhm.
I'm not going to come help anybody who's going to use the knowledge I give them to overprice my own community. I'm not
Right.
going to do
Right.
that. I'm only
Mhm.
going to come help you if you're here to feed your community earnestly. And I know
That's
we all got to make money because I have to make money to live too. But
right.
don't replace the vultures with the
Yeah.
Right.
same
That,
garbage.
that's it. You know,
Yeah.
on my street, like at least across from me and then down that way and a little bit. When we get bulk food, like if I get some greens, that more greens in my backyard and I want to get, I share it. And they
Right.
share too. They share their lemons with us and what they got,
Yeah.
avocados. That's the way it's supposed to be as a community. Why come we can't do that? I would be interested in forming organization. There is one organization in particular that's out there, but I want us to do our own. Um, that they actually, the neighbors actually come into the community and then they create and build the farm in the backyards
Right.
for people, for
Yeah.
all community, and they share the food among themselves. You know how much that costs your grocery bill?
A
Yes.
lot.
A lot.
It cuts back on gas, bus
Yes.
fare, grocery bill, having to give up that receipt.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine when I was doing the lives last year while I was on the farm, and the goddess would watch me pick tomatoes and
Right.
greens and stuff, and I was cooking it like right there. I would do live cooking demonstrations, like I pick greens and I make this from straight from the farm,
Yep.
potatoes straight from the farm. So I was able to do these live cooking demonstrations, and I
Mhm.
actually had people that would come through and be like, "Wow, this
Right.
tastes better than the market food." You're right, because it
Yes.
literally, it didn't have to be cleaned. It didn't have to be trucked and refrigerated to a market where now it's given preservatives to last longer. It
Right.
literally got picked the same day and cooked and eaten the same day.
Right.
Yes. It
Right.
just tastes better. You just, oh my, the difference between something you grow yourself or from someone that's growing something natural than what you get in these grocery store is tremendous. The taste is better. It's more nutritionally packed, and then you go, it's like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how we allow the grocery stores to get away with the fact that they have a health food section and the rest is supposed to be food too. What is the rest of that food? What is
Yeah.
it?
It could be from their 3D printer. They can
Oh,
print
that's
food now.
Yeah, they
They can
yes.
printing up
they
food
can
now.
soon will make meats. They
Hmm.
can print the meat.
The
I think
plastic,
the
they
whole
using
yeah,
3D plastic printer to make meats now.
yes.
Yeah.
And
So,
and one of the scariest parts is now they're mixing the meats. Like they
Uh,
mix beef and pork and turkey to fill in hamburger packs, and you think you're getting a
yeah,
whole pack of ground beef, and you eating pork and turkey and everything
yeah.
else. And
I don't like how the ground beef looks anymore. I'm
you
not
know,
right,
gonna eat that.
my mom and I was talking about this like literally, I think 2 days ago. And my dad by trade was a butcher, and they had
Mm,
several little stores, little confectionery stores, and they had and my dad, he would buy the side of whatever beef mostly, and he would actually make the hamburger itself, so it was fresh, it was real hamburger, it was no filler, no pink slime, none of that stuff that they have in it. And so people would come in there and buy, but like I said, how, and it was in our neighborhood, and some would come inside, but some thought that he was getting too much because we don't want you to do more than
right.
us, you know. So it's like our mindset is just so screwed up. Is I don't get a lot of things. I don't get why um, some of our people do things that benefit themselves and not anybody else. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know, they'll put something out there. Now they know that product is not good. They know it, but they'll put it out there
And
because
how the hell? And why should beef be grainy?
yes.
What's going on there?
Mm,
Smoking the G Sharp said his store's beef is grainy.
beef and grain.
That's a lady. Smoking in G Sharp.
Uh,
She's
Oh, I'm
That's a
sorry.
she. It's
I'm sorry.
okay.
People do it to me all the time, and I don't like it. Like in the morning, I have to call somebody like Amazon or something. They'll call me.
yeah,
They
but I
call
mean,
me sir, and then I purposely call them the opposite of what their sex is. But
Right.
anyway,
oh,
When I
okay.
was younger, my mother always taught me to go to the meat market. She told me she didn't want me. Don't spend her money at the grocery. Don't spend her money on
damn,
meat at
Right.
the grocery store. I could buy other stuff, but
Mm,
when the
wow,
meat, we always had to go to the meat market
mm,
because she wanted to see her meat, and she would pay to have them cut it
mhm.
and turn it into burger. Like if she would see the turkey, she would say, "I want that turkey. I
Yep.
want turkey burger," and we would be at the meat market for like an hour or 2 hours sometime because she wants it fresh. She doesn't want anything that's prepackaged, and she's not sure what it is.
Right.
So she always taught me to go to Eastern Market, go to your meat market, look at your food in whole.
Yes.
So
Yes.
a lot of times, when I go buy fish, I don't buy fish fillets. I buy the whole fish,
Yeah.
and I cook the whole
wow.
fish.
Yep. That's the way you do it. That
Yes,
that is just, it's the way our thinking is now. It's like if it's only good if it comes from a supermarket anyway. And I try to avoid them at all costs, except for a few things I might need.
yes,
But I'll go to. I don't eat meat, so I don't go to a butcher, but I used to.
right,
But I do go to, like Saturday markets. Now they're getting so ridiculously high, it's crazy. So I try to find people on the side of the road to sell oranges and stuff like that, and I buy it from them as opposed to a grocery store because I know that I may get anything. Oh, I don't know if it's real on the side of the road, but I'd rather give them my money than
right.
the
Well,
store.
that's why we run. We got Eastern Market here.
Uh-huh.
So Eastern Market is our farmers market where farmers from all over the state of Michigan, they come, I mean, even from Ohio. We've had people come as far as Ohio and come sell their produce here at Eastern Market.
That's what you. That's
But
what.
And
ain't that season?
there's a blueberry there's a black owned farm. They're blueberry farmers. And
Mhm.
when I say they got the best blueberries and the best blueberry juice in the state of Michigan, I mean that. They got a jar of blueberry juice that they sell this big for about $25. And I mean it'll last you for a few days if you're not greedy. And you drink that
Right,
blueberry juice, you will
right.
see how your body just transform. I mean,
Yep.
Calgon
I know
with
what
this
Right.
blueberry juice is so cold, and I mean it's just straight, fresh blueberry juice.
you're
So
talking
Damn.
we buy they blueberries. We buy they blue. I might spend $50 with them people on the good day.
about. That's what I'm talking about.
Blueberries,
I
blueberry
would love
juice.
to spend $50 on that.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
no, go ahead, Gladys.
No, there was when I was living in New York, um, my former ex, he took me down to this place, a farmer's market, and I nearly went crazy. And they were selling grapes and grape juice, and they made it themselves. Oh my!
Mm.
He bought about four of them. I probably drank two by myself. I mean, it was
Yeah.
so good. It was the real deal. And my body was like, yes, we like this. Keep giving me this. This is real. My body reacted to it. That's how good it was. So it's like your body will tell you what's good.
Like it's
You-
real food.
It's real food. It's not fake.
Yeah,
All this other stuff. It's like if you have to have a section just for organic or whatever you want to call it, healthy food, then that means the rest of the food in there is trash.
right. Well, like I am wisdom said, if you know that the bugs won't even eat the food,
Right.
Yep,
There's something wrong with it because bugs eat real food.
they
And that's
do.
how you know whether or not they're part of the realm. And that's how
Yep.
I know, that's when I start realizing that the mice have been genetically modified.
Uh-huh.
So back in the day, see, and that's how you know the mice would eat
You
everything.
think you think
Yeah.
rats are
They would
genetically
eat
modified?
everything, but now even the mice won't eat certain things. And a mice will eat anything like a pig. And if they
Mhm.
not, that means they know it's poisonous.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. I
Because
noticed that. Go ahead.
go ahead, guys.
No, I noticed that with plants. I have a Japanese zucchini plant, and that thing was beautiful growing out. My first one grew out, and I came out there one day. I was gonna pick it. I should have picked it. Came out there. I got pissed. Somebody had been in there eating it, and they came back and ate it all the way down to the stem. That's how good it was. Like, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good. This is
Wow.
a good deal. You know, that's how you know the bugs. If they won't eat it, it
Yeah.
ain't good. It's not real for you. You don't need to eat it. Shoot, we don't know. They've done so much to our food. I read every label. I want to know what's in my food that I buy. You know. So mm, I went and bought some mung beans, and because I was determined I was gonna make my own eggs. And
Okay.
out of mung beans. Yeah, so I washed them and I dried them, and then I dehydrated them, and then I grinded them. So now I got to put the stuff together to make it taste like egg. But that's what they use in that just egg stuff.
Oh,
I make my own because I want to know what's in it. Because all that other stuff on there, especially the natural flavorings, I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know what it is. So that means you trying to
Right.
put poison in some kind of chemical in my body that is not necessary to have in there, and I'm supposed
Right.
to eat it. Nah, mm-mm. But I'm just saying that's just me.
All of this talk of food, you see, I got my pickles,
oh,
but
that's right. So
oh,
we're
shit.
we're we're way past the 2 hour mark,
Okay.
and we talked about music and as far as helping build the soul and food and
Right.
building the soul. I want to go back before we leave because I know we're gonna have to, cut it off soon. But
Mhm.
the goddess and I were talking about plants before we came on and got back in touch with you, Goddess Charbet.
Mhm.
And we were talking about how the Great Mother, as the organ, knows us simply by our steps. So I
Mm.
want to leave the people with this. When we talk about grounding, your grounding sends a message to the Great Mother of what you need, what your body needs. Now, the goddess is the one that brought this up. I
Mhm.
always talk about organ versus organic, but she always fills in the gaps I've never even thought to fill in. That when
Mm.
we're grounding the plants that your body needs, the Great Mother sends it up.
Mm.
Yes.
So if you've got plantain in your yard, you need the plantain. You may not know why you need or why that plantain is there, but the Great Mother, if you walked in your yard barefoot, pushed up plantain after you walked in your yard. If
Yep.
you've got dandelion, and most people have dandelion, and I'll tell you why. It is a flower of the realm, just like the red clover and the white clover are. Why? Because it is the first organ food nutrients of after winter. Because when
Mm.
you sit indoors in the winter, you're breathing in dust, you're breathing in toxins, you're not getting as much fresh air as you usually would during the spring and summer. So to
Okay.
detoxify us and to start building us up to get ready for that spring and summer movement, what does everybody have in their yard? Dandelion.
Dandelion.
That's
Yes.
why when they created Roundup, what was the flower on Roundup weed killer? Dandelion. The
Yes.
dandelion is the most
Oh,
powerful flower on the realm. It is the first flower and the first food for every being. And I mean that for the deers, the bees, and us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so when we want to detox and rejuvenate and get that lymphatic system going, what do? We drink detox teas. And the
Yes.
original detox is the dandelion because every being within the realm utilizes it,
Mm-hmm.
from the smallest bug, ladybugs, ants, bees, to the
Right.
deers, the squirrels, the chipmunks, the birds. You see them; they all on that dandelion. We on the dandelion.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And not only is it good for detoxing, it's good for your lymphatics, just like the goddess Charbet showed us for today. It's a good lymphatic mover, detox, like I said, because most of us have more mucus on the brain. The brain is not exercised as often as the rest of our bodies.
Right.
So, dandelion, alfalfa,
Mm-hmm.
these are great, powerful detoxers, brain detoxers. Ginkgo biloba.
Yes.
You have loved ones who have, you see them being a little too forgetful too often, a little too, something's off. They have too much pus on the brain, and they don't have that cold. They're not purging enough. Because
Mm.
some people see like, damn, you always got a cold. Damn, they got a lot of pus in them. So they
Yeah.
have to, some people purges last 1 week. Some people purges last 3 weeks. They be having a lot of pus. And the reason why it lasts longer is because you're taking over the counter medications to get rid of the symptoms. And you don't do that. The symptom is the proof that your body is purging. But when
Yes.
you take antibiotics, you stop the purge. When you take cough medicines that quiet the cough, you don't want to quiet your cough. You want to hack that up and hack it out. You're
Yep.
supposed to hack it up, that phlegm. And you know, if you're a smoker like me and you have a cold, you got to stop at some point or you're going to give yourself bronchitis.
Yeah.
Come on, people, we're old enough to know these things and be accountable. When we
Mm-hmm.
talk about the keys of great health, we're talking about taking accountability for the things that we know happen to us in reality.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? So let these purges happen. Stop taking these cold medicines. If you don't have to, do not take them. Some of us do work. We got to get to work. We got to make that money.
Right.
I understand. And that is a way to do so that other people are comfortable around us while we're purging,
Mm-hmm.
because we got to purge.
Yep.
Your body is going to purge. If you don't let your body purge, you're going to have the swole look.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And that's now your lymphatic system is backed up with pus, not
Mm-hmm.
mucus,
Mm-hmm.
pus.
Mm-hmm.
Mucus is a natural state of being that all of our membranes need, such as your eyes, nasal patches, your mouth, mucus. You need your mucous membrane. What you don't need is the pus. And all
Yes.
the pus is what your body does. And this is how we don't understand when we say we're transformers. Your body has the ability
Yeah.
to break down poisons and turn it into something that it can purge out of itself. We we stopped it based on the education given to us by the AI that we have a cold, not that we're naturally purging because of the poisons that we put in.
Right.
So let's be clear when we're talking about these things. And I hope y'all got some good keys to wisdom this evening. Like we spoke truthfully and factfully today. Once you become plant based, it
Mhm.
moves you out of the realm of the menstrual cycle, which will make you have to restudy your education on the moon because you are told that the moon controls your cycle. And if you have no cycle, then what the hell is really going on? That's
Mhm.
all I want to know. So these
Uh,
are the experiences we have as goddesses that make us question what we've been through,
Mm-hmm.
reassess what we've been through, and do it again.
Yeah.
mhm.
And do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
Since
I learned so much. Y'all know I'll never be quiet on but I am in learning mode. I need all of this information because I'm going through it myself. I
Mhm.
started on J2
Mhm.
on the Gregorian calendar. And so
Mhm.
although I'm only on like day 5 So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm on day 7 myself,
Hmm.
and it's not that hard, but sometimes you have moments when
Yeah.
you want to.
It was hard. I broke down today.
Hmm.
She made beans and turkey wings, and then
Uh,
I fried up hot water cornbread and cabbage to go with it. I'm done.
Uh,
It's over.
yeah, I'm definitely
It's
going to
over
eat
for
that
me.
salad tonight.
yeah, that I understand.
I
I
And
don't
it's
do.
have no
winter
problem.
time, and it's winter time, so I find myself putting on a little bit more weight in the wintertime because when I'm thin I think I no not I think I got frostbitten last winter because I believe I was too thin also
Mm-hmm.
in the cold. That wasn't
Mhm.
good for me. And I was trying to remain plant based, but
Mm-hmm.
Michigan is harsh on the melanated body in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never been able to come. I did 5 years straight as a vegan. No meat, no nothing, no nothing.
Mm.
But I didn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So now I find myself going meat free spring, summer, and early fall. But in the winter, that meat, I don't see myself without it, even if it's just fish, because I
Mhm.
couldn't seem to function. Like the food is so depleted, even the fruits and vegetables, that I still felt weak in the wintertime. So
Mm-hmm.
it's, I don't know if I'm explaining this right. Like, when you eat, you should feel strong, you should have endurance. Like I'm a walker. I can walk 2 miles easy, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't doing that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mhm.
when I realized I was having a deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I see certain things grow up in my yard, I just start snatching. I don't even dry it out. If I can eat it without poisoning myself, I'm putting it in my mouth. So
There
I
you go.
found a lot of horsetail in my yard last year.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of red clover and I had a lot of plantain. So that's what I consumed last year. I
Mm-hmm.
had a problem with bowel movement. So
Mm-hmm.
I took the plantain psyllium husk and I dried that and I took that like Metamucil and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a problem anymore. And I was taking that with senna leaf.
Mm-hmm.
So bam. Because if we got problems with constipations, and we usually do over the winter time because we're not as active,
Yeah.
our lymphatic system isn't moving around as we're not as active in the spring and summer and early fall. So when you do these things over the summer, also it helps prep your body for the winter. If you can do it for the fall, your yard will still have the organ nutrients that your body needs going into the winter because the flowers will change
Mm-hmm.
during season that your body needs. So pay attention to your fall yard. Your fall yard is going to push up the herbs that your body needs to take you into the winter.
Yes,
Yes, absolutely.
definitely gonna be noticing. I'm
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
like I a whole new person after today's show. Like, cause I know I got my I know what to do now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, a lot of us just wing it, but if you got a guide or a roadmap, of course it's better than winging it.
Yep, it is. I'm a firm believer. I'm not one of those die-hard vegans, vegetarian, I'd like to say, but where
Mhm.
you can't eat no meat. Only thing I ever said is that if you're going to eat meat, get it from a reputable source, like a really good butcher who gets the pure thing. There are some out there, and eat the meat. And some people do need meat at certain times of the year. So that's not far fetched. I just
Mhm.
choose. I don't do it anymore. But I never with a friend of mine. He eats very little meat, but he eats a little bit of meat, and then he's changed his whole diet around. And then that's okay. You're gonna eat the to what's it's gonna resonate with your body, basically, and your body's
Right.
gonna tell you whether it's good or not for you. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So
Right.
you got to listen to your body because sometimes we get onto this role where you got to do it just like me. You got to say it just like me. No, it's not.
Right. Right.
No, we're not a one size fit all. We're
Right.
not.
Right.
We're
Listen
not.
to your cells and tell me what to do, and they will tell you what to do, and they'll tell you if it's good or not. I talk to my cells and my organs. I
every day.
babies because I love them because they're the ones sustaining this avatar.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
So,
Man.
ladies, before we head out tonight and close out for this evening,
mhm.
I was wondering, are we down to do another keys for great health? Because I would like one of the topics that we started on, but we still didn't get deep into it, is building the soul in the
Yeah.
cities,
Uh-huh.
ley lines, and locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was gonna bring it back, but I already was thinking we're gonna ask Charbay to come back again.
I
Okay.
definitely, I'm
All
gonna
of
look
this,
for it. I'm gonna begin to study on it. But yes, of course.
Okay.
right? Because I actually wanted to know, like you already showed us how to get the lymph pus out and showed us some nice exercise and stuff. But I want to know, as your journey continues, what else are you finding or and discovering? Share that with us. Share with us if something that you was doing you no longer need to do.
Mhm.
Like tell us about yourself, Charbay. I'm glad we had the discussion that we had today, though,
Uh-huh.
because me and I am wisdom. Faye was like, "Well, damn, you know, she learns something new every day.
Yeah.
Every day, I learn something new. I know
Yeah.
because
I
I'm
learned something
I'm
new.
gonna find it. I'm gonna go look for what I don't know,
Right.
and I'm
And
gonna find it.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna.
keep searching and dealing with myself so I can share whatever I'm doing with you and the rest of the audience out there. And because I'm not a scholar in any of this, but I
Right.
know it works for me. So out of that, somebody may get something that actually saves their life. And for that, I would be very grateful, you know, grateful.
Yeah.
I know that you have I keep pointing, but like you can see who I'm pointing to.
Yeah.
let's, say, let's say both of you.
Exactly.
I know you
Exactly.
have this knowledge that I'm very attracted because I'm not about bullshit. Let me just say it.
Yeah.
I like knowledge. I like real knowledge, no bullshit, no underline. Just tell me the
That's right.
truth. And I like,
Exactly.
and I'll be a part of that for what I know. And if I don't know, I don't know. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. Now I'm gonna have to go look for some things because I've been thinking about this brain and vibration, along that's with the music thing. And I've been searching for things on that and reading
Yeah.
articles. So when I get it together in my mind, I'll give you what I have.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's
You
Gratitude.
all we
know,
can ask for.
Gratitude.
yeah, no, you both of you gonna go, okay, so yeah, that's good, and let's go in it deeper. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
go,
It gets deeper. It gets deeper.
yeah,
Y'all might be seeing a
Yeah.
lot of Sade. We try not to sweat her too much, so but whatever she'll give us, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yes, we need Jews from the goddesses. We need our goddesses. We need y'all to share with us because we're
yes,
bringing up these next generations. And I turned to my daughter one day, my 20-year-old, and she had been having difficulties in her relationships and stuff. And she was just so lost. And I just stopped and I said, does this world make sense to you? And she said, hell no. Like, in all sincerity, like, Mama,
yeah,
I'm confused. Like, you giving me one message, I'm getting messages from, and you can imagine the messages I'm giving my child and how it
Right.
hits up against and butts up against all the other messages she
right.
Yeah.
receives in this realm. So
Mhm.
I had to really stop myself and be like, wow, like, so yeah,
And
I want to go deeper with the keys to great
so,
health,
Mhm.
mentally, mindfully, and
yeah,
soulfully and physically. So
Yeah,
yeah, let's take it
that's,
to
that's
because we
definitely
had as many answers as we answered today. We still had a
yeah.
million more questions, and I love that.
yes,
Okay. And so Lima, I'm gonna ask you to do the to our disclosure that we're not doctors and we're not medical anything.
mhm.
You are an herbalist, however, and so I'm gonna let you just put that little
Right.
disclosure
This
out
is a
there.
disclosure that we are not. certified doctors or nurses. We are
Mhm.
the matriarchs and elders of our community, and we are
Mhm.
sharing our shared experiences,
Yes.
knowledge, and questions within our community, as is our right. This is
Mhm.
fair trade knowledge.
Yes.
Anyone is welcome to it because it is on open airwaves. We do
Yes.
not claim the rights to any music you might inadvertently hear during these lives,
That's right.
but we talk about it all during these lives because this is us growing our community to the best of our ability.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I am Wisdom Faye. If you have a website, please put it in the chat this time or next time or whenever. I'm definitely interested in your herbal tinctures and extracts, and to tell the
Mhm.
truth, your wine too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I love
so
wine. I don't drink anymore like that. But if you give me real wine, if you give me real
yeah,
cherry wine, I like blueberry wine and cherry wine, and I'm there. I'm yours.
Yeah.
yeah, make some money off of us. I'll definitely buy some wine from you.
He said most
All right.
definitely. Yeah, I'm interested to see what you can have.
And Charbay, let's see if we can get a recipe book sometime this year. I'm,
I've
I
never
don't,
done that. Well, I perfected fried chicken with oyster mushrooms. I want you to know that I ate
yeah.
myself stupid with that. Well, not stupid. That's a
Uh,
choice, silly because oh my goodness. And I've been
hey,
experiencing. I'm in my laboratory almost every day, or at least every other day, experimenting on some food and how I can make it taste like whatever I want it to taste like. And
yeah.
so, yeah, so
Well,
I'm thinking about that. I got a few things under my belt, so I'm gonna
okay.
work on
Okay.
that. Yes.
Then we're gonna have all kinds of ebooks soon. So y'all stay in tuned with us. Make sure
Yes.
you go sign up to Yassine University so you don't miss nothing for this year. Because we already said it, we're not gonna be YouTubing it like this forever.
No,
You know, we're gonna give y'all some crumbs, make
Mhm.
y'all the crumb snatchers, unless you come to the university. Okay, Shire Bay, you're more than invited to where we're at with anything that you do. You're so professional,
mhm.
so talented, and you know you're the elder of this crew. We got a lot of shit to learn from you, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
All
We
right,
are.
all right. I
Yeah.
mean, you're
Yeah.
not that elderish, but I'm just saying, I give me your wisdom, give me your gems.
hey, we all grandmas, so
Oh
Yes.
we
yeah, yeah,
all
Yes.
right. And I'm gonna be 60 this year, and I'm proud. You know,
right.
Loud.
I really
Say
am.
it
I
loud.
feel better than I've ever felt in the last 30 years. Hell,
Yeah. Say it
yeah.
loud. I'm older and proud.
Oh hell yeah, I'm 60 in August.
Right.
Something.
60.
No one ever told me how I was supposed to act when I got in this age range. So I do me. I just do me.
You do it
You don't
well,
need a script. I don't
yeah,
Yeah.
like when people try to script us.
Yes.
People try to
Yes.
script us too
there
much.
you
Like
go.
you, if you're this old, you should be acting this way. If you're this old, you should be acting this way. When the
Right.
truth of the matter is, like when I'm out here dealing in the realm, I used to get offended because people would treat me like a kid. They'd be like, "Oh, you a baby?" I'll be like, "No, man, I'm 50 years old." What are you talking about? And they really look me up and down like.
Right.
And then
Right.
when they find out my health problems, they'd be like, "No way," and I'll be like, "I don't know how to explain this to you." But
Uh-huh.
life had to kick my ass for me to see the light and the darkness, and
There
it just did something to me that I, I just I just have to
yeah.
go with the flow of it.
Mhm.
So even though I am a grandmother, my youthfulness, my
Mhm.
ability to survive trauma
Mm-hmm.
makes me I guess an oddity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
I have a unique ability to survive trauma that most people tell me ain't no way I would still be here with what I've been through. And I'm like, yes, you would. They be like, no way, baby, no way.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
resilience, I can't stand that word resilience. But because of who we are and where we are in our life and who we are as a people, resilience is one of our superpowers. We need it, or we wouldn't be here.
Yes.
Definitely necessary.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, got a sis. Great show. Thank you for spending time with me again. I wouldn't rather be anyplace else than where I've just been for the last 3 hours. We made the 3 hour mark. That went by pretty fast.
Yeah, it
Okay.
did.
I'm gonna sit back, rewatch this, absorb all of this stuff, and continue my journey, knowing that I got the best advice from the two goddesses that I love very much. Both of
Yeah.
y'all. Peace and love.
Peace and
All
love.
right. To the chat, we love you. You know that already.
Gratitude to the chat, to the panel. Love y'all.
Yeah.
Yep. I am Wisdom Faye. Get with me. Come talk to us on the show one day. Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Pasio, we love you too. So peace and love and work.